It's Tuesday, October 28th. Today, running at capacity. The situation the Manitoba Nurses Union is calling totally unacceptable. A new method, how some municipalities are getting creative with their road repairs. And later, new hope for Alzheimer's patients. The recently approved drug targeting the root cause of the disease. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Tuesday to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next 3 hours to cover, and Ainsley McPhail's going to take a walk with the Bear Clan Patrol. They have a lot of really important work that they do every day, but they also have some new initiatives that we're going to hear about this morning, so that'll be really interesting. But the weather, it rained all day yesterday. And it's still raining.
The Bear Clan Patrol is out in all weather, right? So we have to salute them. And yes, when it was raining yesterday, they were out and about. The good news is the rain we're seeing this morning will be tapering off later today. So hopefully they can have a bit of a drier day on their next patrol. Currently it's 7 degrees, some light rain out there, as mentioned. The winds are out of the north. The barometric pressure is on the rise. The humidity this hour is sitting at 99%. So we will be dealing with the rain, the remnants of this low pressure system as evidenced on our radar. It's hovering over the northeast corner. I'm interested to get to the rooftop where we have a rain gauge because Environment and Climate Change Canada had a number of different estimates. For us here, it was upwards of about 40 millimeters. So we'll see what our gauge says. Wake up there. Come on, there we go. Our Futurecast, though, shows us how this system should taper off. So it's kind of hovering vertically over our province right now. As the day progresses, it starts to push further into the east, bringing a good chance of some rainfall to northwestern Ontario, while we deal with a good amount of cloud coverage, not only here in the south, but to northern Manitoba as well. Very northerly corners of the province have a chance of some mixed precipitation skewing more towards flurries, while the rest of us deal with some cloudy or some clear skies overnight, setting the stage for a bit of sunshine tomorrow and a bit of cloud to the north of us on Wednesday. In terms of our temperatures, we've been dealing with some above seasonal ones. That will not be the case for the number of days. Apologies, this did not move over as it should have. 9 degrees is what we're looking at today with mostly cloudy skies. I mentioned that little bit of sunshine. 8 degrees. Keep in mind 6 is a typical high. Thursday, Friday, there is a slight chance of some rainfall. It's looking like we're likely to be cloudy. And then Saturday, again, ignore the pumpkin, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 3 degrees.
Thank you, Catherine. Crowded waiting rooms in Winnipeg ERs are nothing new, but the Manitoba Nurses Union is calling a recent situation at Health Sciences Centre totally unacceptable. The Nurses Union says HSC's emergency department was running at a capacity of more than 200% for over a week. In a post on social media, President Darlene Jackson says at one point there were 120 patients waiting to be seen. Jackson says the overflow forced nurses to care for stroke patients in hallways, while other patients waited hours for treatment. The situation became so dire, some adult patients were redirected to the children's ER. PC health critic Kathleen Cook says this is evidence the NDP's plan to fix the healthcare system isn't working.
The NDP talks about numbers of so-called net new hires, but when an organization like the Manitoba Nurses Union can't get the data on where those nurses are, whether they're full-time or part-time or casual, and how many nurses have retired without paying a $2,000 fee estimate, it really makes me wonder how credible are the NDP's claims.
Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says his government is working every day to improve emergency services.
Well, we check the numbers each and every day, and what I'm giving you is up to the minute, and it's pretty consistent with what we've been seeing. But like I said, people on the front lines do great work. We're doing a lot on the safety side to support them. We've done a ton on the staffing side, so we're going to keep working on that.
The Premier says currently the median wait time is 2 hours. According to Winnipeg Regional Health Authority's website, as of 3:30 this morning, the wait time at HSC's adult ER was 9.5 hours. More and more people are relying on food banks in Manitoba. Food Banks Canada released its annual hunger count report, and its findings show an alarming spike in our province. This year, Manitoba food banks averaged nearly 65,000 visits a month. That's a 17% increase from last year. And when compared to 2021, it's a 97% increase. 50% of the people using food banks in our province are single, with 25% relying on social assistance. However, the study found 17% of food bank users have jobs and 60% are renters. Every summer, we see crews out on the streets repairing our roads. Usually, they're laying down asphalt and gravel, but not always. Municipalities across the province are looking at different methods of road repair, some using eco-friendly means of construction. And as CTV's Joseph Bernacki shows you, material from recycled tires is being used to repair some country roads.
There's a new game in town when it comes to building materials for road construction: recycled tires.
I love doing this job. I can take the garbage that they used to bury in the landfills and I can put it in a road.
Peter Schrader and his team have rebuilt roads across Manitoba for 20 years, processing old rubber tires into what's called tire-derived aggregate Type B. The tires are shredded using a 250 horsepower hybrid shredder using 2 circular hook knives. The broken down material is vital for stopping water from rising up into the roadbed above it. Schrader says problems can persist in gravel roads from 4 feet into the ground.
Once the water's in the roadbed in the fall, it freezes what they refer to as a frost lens. We have to get down there and we have to take corrective measures.
He says once the water thaws in the spring, gravel roads can be damaged from the resulting expansion, leaving soft spots. That's where his team comes in using recycled rubber. After excavating and putting some of the material underneath, the road is compacted and ready for drivers.
Before you know it, we've got it right up to the top. Maybe it's a foot or so higher, and the road has load-bearing properties.
It's a rebuilding process Schrader has used recently in Gimli, the RM of Stanley, and the RM of Yellowhead. Yellowhead Council says it was a no-brain decision.
The success stories that other municipalities had with the method, but plus it was kind of a win-win. It was a way to use up some of the tires that were piling up and put them to good use at a reasonable cost.
Another selling point? Mayor Starzyk says the municipality received funding for the roadwork from Tire Stewardship Manitoba.
The important part of our grant is to support the market and to demonstrate the product for RMs, let them know that this is something that's available and that it works.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Hurricane Melissa is now bearing down on Jamaica. This hurricane is being called the strongest storm anywhere in the world this year.
I don't believe there's any infrastructure within this region that could withstand a Category 5 storm, so there could be significant dislocation.
Jamaica hasn't taken a direct hit from a hurricane in more than a decade. Jamaica has never felt the impact of a hurricane stronger than a Category 4 in recorded history. Melissa has been a Category 5 status for longer than 24 hours now and seems to be getting stronger. The National Hurricane Center is warning of landslides, catastrophic flash flooding, and winds that may cause total structural failure. Winds have been recorded at 280 kilometers an hour. Parts of Jamaica could see nearly 80 centimeters of rain. The storm has already been blamed for 7 deaths in the northern Caribbean. And here's a rare look inside the eye of the storm. A U.S. Air Force Reserve crew known as the Hurricane Hunters flew through the eye of Hurricane Melissa to collect data for the National Hurricane Center. Direct landfall of this storm has been delayed, but is expected anytime. After hitting Jamaica, it will impact Cuba and then head toward the Bahamas. The Jays don't have much time to get ready for their next game after losing an 18-inning heartbreaker in Los Angeles.
Ohtani on a center cut fastball, blast one, and ties it.
Shohei Ohtani hit his second home run of the night in the bottom of the 7th to tie the game up at 5. The Jays would walk him 5 times after that hit. With the game tied at 5, both teams had their chances to take the lead, but no one was able to capitalize until the 18th inning.
In Los Angeles, Thurman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes midnight. Freddie Freeman has ended it.
That solo shot from Freddie Freeman gave the Dodgers the 6-5 win. They now lead the series 2-1. Game 3 took 6 hours and 39 minutes to play. It tied the longest game by innings in World Series history. Game 4 in the series goes tonight in LA. Start time is 7 p.m. Central. And here's what's happening now on Kenaston Boulevard. It looks like things are moving quite well. Still a lot of puddles and big puddles, I might add, on Kenaston as well, so be mindful of that. If you see any problems out on the streets, please text them to us at 10400. All right, let's go to Ainslie McPhail now. We are live with the Bear Clan Patrol. Even with the rain, snow, whatever it is, they're out there patrolling and doing their best to keep the community safe. Good morning, Ainslie.
Good morning, Michelle. And yeah, that's certainly top of mind as we approach those winter months. I'm sorry to say it. We're at the Alfred location. They've been here for a couple of months and they're patrolling the streets through their 3 locations, but they're doing tons of advocacy and community outreach work. So whether it's picking up needles, they saw over 250 of them this Friday alone, or handing out a sandwich, or even working with the Winnipeg School Division and talking to some of the kids, teaching them guitar. They are in the community. And you yourself at home, if you're interested in supporting the North End specifically in making it safer for our streets, you can volunteer. So listen up throughout the morning. We'll see you again in the 7 o'clock hour.
Okay, thank you, Ainslie. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's windy, it's wet, it's not a pleasant start to the day.
No, you know, although the rain is starting to taper off, Rochelle, definitely since we got in quite early this morning, it's more of a drizzle out here. It's 7 degrees, very light northerly winds, pressure's rising, humidity sits at 99%. Just looking at the rain gauge back here, we measured about 16 millimeters that fell and collected in our gauge, about in line with what Environment and Climate Change Canada had estimated would be coming with this low pressure system that's been spreading this rainfall all throughout southern Manitoba. Of course, areas in the western Red River Valley and southern Interlake were warned to get more than that as that system sort of stalled out. It should move further to the northeast today, leaving behind cloudy skies for us here in the south. Temperatures peaking through much of southern Manitoba at about 9 degrees. 6 is what's seasonal. That'll be paired with some strong northwesterly winds at 20 gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. Much the same to the north in terms of our temperatures. Cloudy skies, no rainfall for you. That's the good news. However, you have some in the cards coming in the coming days. All right, we're going to take a break here on CTV, on Your Morning Winnipeg. I was going to do it once. Stay with us. So much more still to come.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Good morning. A Winnipeg bus driver is in hospital after being assaulted on the job Monday afternoon. Police allege the suspect was a passenger who's still at large. Officers were called to East Kildonan shortly after 2 p.m. to an assault near Gateway and Springfield roads. Police say a bus driver was brought to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They allege it was a passenger who assaulted the driver. No one was arrested at the scene, and police are now looking for the suspect. Major Crimes is investigating. The search for remains of a woman killed by a convicted serial killer will begin at a Winnipeg landfill in December.
We're moving ahead to the next steps, which involve hiring the searchers. We've done sort of our preliminary test search already. This is very much the same process we used at Prairie Green landfill.
Ashley Shingoose was one of 4 First Nations women killed by Jeremy Skibitsky in 2022. A preliminary search began at Brady Road landfill in August using excavators and ground-penetrating radar tests to narrow down the search area. A search of another landfill for the remains of Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron, who were also killed by the same person, wrapped up last summer after their bodies were found. Last year, Skibitsky was convicted of first-degree murder in the women's deaths and sentenced to life in prison. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is defending an anti-tariff ad that's derailed trade talks with the U.S.
It was the most successful ad in the history of North America. Well, as we say, mission accomplished. It was done. They're talking about it in the U.S., and they weren't talking about it before I put the ad on.
The ad featured an old clip of Ronald Reagan talking about the negative effects of tariffs. The ad ran on major U.S. networks last week. It prompted U.S. President Donald Trump to break off trade talks with Canada and then threatened to impose higher tariffs. Premier Ford says President Trump is simply upset because the ad was effective, saying it generated a conversation, which was the main goal. Doug Ford also insists Prime Minister Mark Carney saw the ad and didn't tell him to keep quiet. And even after the backlash from the Ontario ad campaign, BC Premier David Eby says his province still plans to push ahead with its own anti-tariff ads aimed at the American public. BC had announced the ads last week, with Eby saying they were to defend the province and Canada against the threat from U.S. softwood lumber tariffs. A spokesperson for Premier Eby's office says the timber tariff ads are expected to run in November. Increasing trade with a community of Asian nations with 680 million people and a nearly $4 trillion economy was top of mind for the Prime Minister Monday, but he faced tough questions about Canada's most significant trading relationship. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
The Prime Minister began his day with a meeting with Malaysia's Anwar Ibrahim, the fourth leader from Southeast Asia that he has sat down with at ASEAN. But the one-on-one he needs is slipping out of reach.
Whether it's provincial or Canada itself, they all knew exactly what the ad was. I don't want to meet with them. I'm not going to be meeting with them for a while.
Mark Carney revealed he has not spoken to Donald Trump since the U.S. president broke off trade talks on Thursday. Trump ended negotiations over an anti-tariff ad that the Ontario government commissioned, just as the federal team was close to getting tariff relief for steel and aluminum. The Prime Minister was asked if he was upset with Doug Ford.
You can get unexpected twists and turns, and you have to keep your cool. We had made progress, to repeat. And we stand by the progress that had been made.
Trump is also threatening to add 10% more tariffs on top of existing ones. When those take effect is uncertain. It's a stunning reversal from Carney's last White House visit just 3 weeks ago.
How did your relationship with Donald Trump go south so fast?
It's a question for him.
Carney has considered the possibility the U.S. is toying with Canada and doesn't want to negotiate.
I'm not about to detail those contingency plans. I said this before I was elected, emphasize the importance of us giving ourselves far more than any foreign government could take away.
At the ASEAN summit, Carney said Canada would increase by 50% its non-U.S. exports over the next decade. That would amount to $300 billion.
Trump may not want to sit down with Carney, but the president of China does. Xi Jinping and Carney will have a bilateral meeting in South Korea. The two leaders want to recalibrate the relationship between their two countries. Judy Trin, CTV News, Kuala Lumpur.
These microorganisms could be vital to maintaining the world's carbon balance. By themselves, calcifying plankton are smaller than a grain of sand. Together, they absorb carbon dioxide from seawater and trap it in their shells, sometimes for centuries. Sounds like a big deal, right? Well, a recent study found scientists have been overlooking this contribution. Accounting for the plankton may show the ocean is more resilient than we thought. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Starting today, the eastbound median lane will be closed on Portage Avenue between Knox and David. The northbound curb lane on Kenaston from Scurfield to Lindenwood Drive East will close following the morning rush. McIver will also be closed intermittently from Edker to Chornick. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, please text them to us at 10400.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Still a little bit rainy out there in Winnipeg to kick off your Tuesday. 7 degrees, a good amount of cloud coverage as well. Winds are light out of the north. The barometric pressure is rising. The humidity sitting at 99%. So we're still dealing with the remnants, as mentioned, of this deep long wave trough that's fancy for a large low pressure system. And that has been triggering rainfall. Also, our temperatures, though, the good news, decently warm for this time of year, especially for this time of day. Starting off at 7 degrees in Winnipeg Winnipeg, as mentioned, in Morden and Winkler as well. Portage La Prairie joining the party. Brandon and Dauphin at 4 degrees. Swan River a little bit cooler at 1. The Paw at 0. To the north, many weather reporting stations offline. I guess just Churchill is at this point. I'm not sure if you can see there. Thompson at 3 degrees. The Paw at Lynn Lake at 0. Island Lake at 9. I'll check on those in the break. Certainly when you put the kids on the bus, you still want to gear them with that umbrella. There's a chance the rain won't quite have tapered off yet. Likely, though, it'll be cloudy. 6 degrees as they head out the door. 8 as they take lunch with those continued clouds. Wind should be ramping up out of the northwest at 20, gusting at times to 40. And on the way home, 9 degrees, which is also our high. In terms of overnight, we'll start to see skies begin to clear after a decently cloudy day. -2 degrees. And then tomorrow, maybe our last opportunity for some sunshine for a good amount of time. 8 degrees is our high. Temperatures dipping overnight to 2 as we see a system move in, bringing a good chance of some rainfall, but a 60% shot on Thursday with a high of 5. And it decreases slightly into Friday, but it ramps up again on Saturday. And yes, you saw a possibility of some flurries. Hate to use the F word coming on Sunday mixed in with that rain. Your Skywatch picture of the day. Angie took this amazing photo in Broken Head. Thanks so much for sending it our way, Angie. And keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break. Stay with us. So much more Your Morning Winnipeg still to come.
We're about to make one of our viewers' morning a whole lot richer. For the past few weeks, we've been giving you the chance to enter to win a staggering $20,000. And now it's time to announce our lucky winner. Congratulations to Al Priedel. You are the winner of CTV Your Morning's $20,000 giveaway. Congratulations, Al Priedel, and thank you for tuning in and making CTV Your Morning a part of your daily routine. Have fun spending the $20,000. Congratulations. A British DJ is spinning music as he winds through the streets of Madrid. Dom Whiting created drum and bass on bike rides during the pandemic in an effort to get people out exercising and enjoying music. 4 years in the rides now draw in hundreds and sometimes thousands to the cities he visits. New hope for Alzheimer's patients in Canada after Health Canada approved a new drug to slow the early stages of the disease. But as CTV's Heather Wright reports, for now at least, it comes with a hefty price tag.
Alzheimer's disease runs in John Dalrymple Fraser's family. Both parents and a number of cousins have had the disease, and so does he.
Thinking of my own family, I don't want to forget their names. I want to remember them. So getting diagnosed early gives me a chance.
He was diagnosed about 5 years ago and is part of an ongoing clinical study looking at the effectiveness of the drug lecanemab, which was just approved for use by Health Canada.
It is a historic day for Alzheimer's disease.
Lecanemab's approval marks the first time a drug that targets the root causes of the disease will be available in Canada. And while the drug will not cure Alzheimer's, doctors say it helps buy time by slowing cognitive decline and extending independence, and offers hope to families.
When independence becomes interrupted and patients require family members, people around them to start stepping in, that the impact of this disease really becomes felt on communities, on families, on the Canadian healthcare system.
Lecanemab is not without risk. It can have serious side effects, including swelling and bleeding of the brain and death. Only those in the early stages of the disease will qualify to receive the drug, and patients will be genetically screened, as side effects are more likely in people with certain genes. But doctors hope that having a treatment available will encourage more people to seek help earlier.
Will stimulate and encourage individuals to be aware of their memory and come forward if they notice problems.
Another major issue with this drug is cost. A Canadian price tag has not been set, but in the United States, it costs roughly $26,000 US. It's also not clear whether provincial health plans will cover it. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Surely we're starting starting to dry off here in Winnipeg with that rain beginning to taper off. 7 degrees under cloudy skies. Winds are light out of the north. Pressure's rising. Humidity sits at 99%. Yes, we have been dealing with that rainfall, that very broad low pressure system that's been dousing much of southern Manitoba. I went up to the rainfall. It looks like a rooftop. Looks like about 16 millimeters of rain was counted in our weather gauge. We'll be checking in with Environment and Climate Change Canada to get totals. Meanwhile, this system is still kind of hovering over the southeast. That's why those larger rainfall accumulations were expected for the West Red River Valley, southern Interlake. We'll see the rainfall taper off in due time, likely in the next hour or so. 9 degrees will be our high today. As that rain tapers off, we'll deal with cloudy skies. Winds will be ramping up as well out of the northwest at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. Overnight temperatures dipping down to -2. Skies begin to clear. Winds ease off out of the west at 15 kilometers per hour. Into tomorrow, a brief reprieve from the rain. 8 degrees is what we're looking at. Oh, apologies, this icon should not be rain. Winds out of the northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. I'm having some issues with my graphics today. As mentioned, the rain will be back, likely, I should say. Let's manage expectations here. Environment and Climate Change Canada has it at 60% chance of some rainfall on Thursday with a high of 5 degrees. Likely, though, clouds or skies will be cloudy. Into Friday, about a 40% shot of some more rainfall. But as you can see, it's kind of plaguing us through the weekend with temperatures dipping below seasonal. 6 is what's typical. Sun looks to be back out by the start of next week.
Manitoba's NDP government reintroduced ankle monitors to the justice system toolbox last year. They said it would improve public safety by cracking down on repeat offenders. CTV's Daniel Homerson gives us a new look at the program's effectiveness.
61% of the people fitted with ankle monitor devices in Manitoba since last year have been rearrested or breached conditions. That's according to new data shared by Manitoba's Justice Minister. Out of the 530 people ordered to wear ankle monitors, 243 were rearrested for committing another crime or for violating conditions. 53 removed the devices themselves and took off, and 12 allowed the device's battery to die.
If you look at the numbers, if we just look at people who've been through the program, the success rate is like 11%.
Michael Reinrath, a criminal justice professor at the University of Winnipeg, says he's not surprised by these numbers. He says past research has shown electronic monitoring programs are ineffective.
It's supposed to discourage people from being, rearrested for new crimes. So that failure rate, and the program hasn't been running very long, the fail rate is concerning.
The Canoe government reintroduced the electric monitoring program in August 2024 as a way for law enforcement to keep tabs on those charged with crimes and released on bail in real time. Ankle monitors are also used in intimate partner violence cases. The devices use voice, audio, and vibration commands to alert those wearing it, and it can send out alerts if someone is in an area they're prohibited from entering. Premier Wap Canoe argues the high number of rearrests are a sign the ankle monitors are working as intended.
Well, there's a deterrence component, but yeah, if somebody's breaching bail, you should go arrest them.
But the PC's justice critic says the program is failing and the province should prioritize crime prevention.
We have experts saying that this is not something to rely on. We have experts saying that these are inflated numbers that the minister was using. And if we look at the people that were actually no longer in this program or aren't wearing these monitors, it's a staggering number.
Daniel Almerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
When the NDP announced the program last year, they earmarked just under $3 million for it over 2 years. But an expansion this summer, doubling the number of ankle monitors to 200, brought the total outlay to roughly $4 million. An investigation is underway after a man walked into City Place Monday afternoon with serious stab wounds. The police service says General Patrol officers summoned an ambulance who brought the man in his 30s to hospital in unstable condition. Police tape could be seen surrounding the west entrance to the building and part of the sidewalk. Police haven't yet identified any suspects. University of Manitoba football players returned from an away game this weekend to find their vehicles vandalized. This is what they found at 3:30 a.m. Sunday after the team came back from their weekend game in Saskatchewan. 8 players had their vehicles vandalized while parked at the university's outdoor soccer field. John Moore, the parent of one of the players, is concerned none of the vehicle owners were called when it happened. He's calling for increased security at the school.
They did say they knew about it, and all they did was put a piece of paper on their window saying the incident report.
A statement from the University of Manitoba to CTV News says its security services responded, and people were also encouraged to report the incidents to the Winnipeg Police Service and their insurer. They say the investigation is now with Winnipeg Police. The Alberta government is using the notwithstanding clause to force teachers back to work.
Notwithstanding clause is part of our Constitution, and part of the reason why it's there is that sometimes there are a lot of different interests that have to be mediated.
As expected, the province tabled legislation to end 3 weeks of job action by more than 50,000 teachers. Not only are teachers being forced back to work, the legislation also imposes a new 3-year contract on teachers. It's an offer they've rejected before. The offer includes a 12% raise over 4 years and a promise to hire 3,000 teachers. The notwithstanding clause prevents legal challenges.
It's a travesty to our democracy. They're ramming through this bill in one evening so that they can put forward what they want to see.
The teachers union is talking to lawyers about options. Defying the order will cost individuals $500 a day and $500,000 a day for organizations. Teachers are expected back in classrooms tomorrow. According to Statistics Canada, retail sales were up across the country this summer, and Newfoundland and Labrador led the way. Overall, Canada's sales increased 1% in August from the month before, but Newfoundland jumped 5.1%. The agency says the biggest increases were with cars and parts, with higher sales at both new and used car dealerships. Here's what's happening now in traffic at Portage Avenue at Polo Park. Looks like things are moving well. The streets are rain covered. Lots of big puddles out there as well, so be mindful of that when you head out this morning. If you see any issues out on the streets, though, please text them to us at 10400. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.33. The provincial average is lower at $1.28. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.28, and the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.11. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we're going to learn more about the Bear Clan Patrol, what they do every day, and some new initiatives coming up. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Still a sprinkling of rainfall falling in downtown Winnipeg associated with this very broad low-pressure system that moved into our province, particularly in the south yesterday, and has really been hovering particularly over the southeast corner since last night. That rainfall should be tapering off in due time here in downtown Winnipeg and throughout much of southern Manitoba, while Westman, you're waking up to clearer skies. To the north, some clouds to kick you off. Temperatures in that region soaring to above seasonal values in and around the 9-degree mark. For us here in the south, once this rainfall leaves us, we'll be dealing with mostly cloudy skies, some strong northwesterly winds at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. Similar highs for us here in the south as in the north, around 9 degrees. Overnight tonight, temperatures dipping below freezing, -2 in Winnipeg. Winds ease considerably. Tomorrow, a lovely sunny day likely across much of southern Manitoba. And it could be our only chance for some sunshine in the next week. We're looking at a good chance of some rainfall dogging us at least until Sunday. Our own Ainsley McPhail is braving the elements this morning with the Bear Clan Patrol. Ainsley.
Good morning, Catherine. Yeah, we'll be outside just shortly. They're braving the elements all the time. Kevin Walker joins me, the executive director. A really big part about what you guys do is street patrols. Tell us about where we are, first of all.
Sure, we're at our new location at 126 Alfred, and we've been here about 2 months now.
And the street patrols, what exactly does that entail?
Well, we go out and we're handing out sandwiches, water, granola bars, things like that, depending on what the season is. Obviously, the need right now would be for mitts and toques and things like that to keep people warm.
I hope people are thinking about that ahead of time, too, when it comes to it, because those conditions are getting colder and colder, of course, Manitoba. Safety, a huge concern in certain parts of the community when it comes to needles. This is something that you guys are working to combat.
Sure, yeah. We've been out now for some time to pick up a lot of the needles. We were just out on Friday, picked up about 250 Sunday we were out, I think we picked up about 65. So, you know, the need to be out there picking those up and getting them off the streets, especially in some of the playgrounds where kids are and areas where they're more populated, we try and get those off the street.
Speaking of kids, you guys are heavily working with the youth now, particularly with the Winnipeg School Division. Break that down. I see you lighting up even when I mention it, so that even warms my heart. But tell us about what's going on.
We've been now working with the Winnipeg School Division, so we're working with R.B. Russell, Children of the Earth, Elmwood. Our Children of the Earth, we're working as some mentors every Wednesday, so we're doing crafting with them, just actually getting the kids involved. Sometimes it's not even about what we're teaching them or what we're doing, it's just getting them involved, getting them talking, giving them the attention that they deserve, right? And just letting them be heard. I think that's important.
Unfortunately, our community is just plagued with overdoses, lots of missing persons cases. Is that what you're seeing on the ground?
Yeah, there's, you know, the increase in the drug use seems to be up, and I think the drugs are more powerful now. It seems to be taking a little bit more naloxone sometimes to combat some of the problems that we're having. It definitely is not getting any better, so we're trying to be proactive and be out there as an outreach resource.
You guys are doing just that, and they're looking for volunteers. So at home, if you're thinking, hey, I have a little bit of extra time on my hand, I'd like to be instrumental in helping out our local community, Bear Clan Patrol is the best way to do that. Coming up, we've got more on Your Morning.
Looking at the early markets, the Dow Jones is trading higher. The Nasdaq also making small gains overnight. The S&P index is flat. The loonie falling overnight to 71.40 cents U.S. The Hang Seng lost 87 points, and the Nikkei index fell 293 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. Charges are being laid after a gravely injured man was dropped off at Portage la Prairie's hospital. Mounties say on Saturday, a seriously injured 30-year-old man was driven to the local hospital, dropped off, and the vehicle then left. The man was pronounced dead. Police later found the vehicle at a Portage home. They arrested and charged a 29-year-old woman with manslaughter. The charge has not yet been tested. She's due in court at a later date. Police in Quebec have arrested a woman after the death of a newborn baby abandoned at a bus shelter. It's the second time this month an infant has been abandoned in Longueuil on Montreal's South Shore.
We were actually all pretty shocked, and now it's happening a second time in a row. So we still do not understand what's going on, and we are worried.
Police would not say if the woman is the child's mother or whether she would face any criminal charges. The newborn was found around 6:30 Monday morning and taken to hospital where the death was confirmed. Ontario's premier is doubling down on his decision to air a $75 million anti-tariff ad that triggered the termination of trade talks and also prompted Donald Trump to threaten a tariff increase. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more on what Doug Ford is saying and whether the Prime Minister saw the TV spot before it aired.
On the floor of the Ontario legislature.
It was the most successful ad in the history of North America.
In interviews on American TV.
I don't regret it at all.
Premier Doug Ford unrepentant about an anti-tariff ad featuring the voice of Ronald Reagan that's derailed trade talks.
Well, as we say, mission accomplished. It was done. They're talking about it in the U.S., and they weren't talking about it before I put the ad on.
Ford says the goal was always conversation. No guilt that a deal on steel and aluminum may have been close before Donald Trump intervened over the ad.
There's no mention whatsoever of auto. I feel like it slipped to the side. I'm going to fight for the auto workers, the steel workers, the manufacturing.
The opposition sees this as an unforced error.
What they did with that ad, it wasn't smart. There's a good chance Ontarians are going to pay with their jobs.
Calling on Ford to worry about the jobs already at risk in the province.
Instead, the Premier is focused on an ad campaign that's there to, boost his ego, make him feel like a big guy.
We need to be united as Team Canada and not have individual premiers go rogue.
Ford insists the Prime Minister had seen the ad and didn't tell him to keep quiet. Siobhan Morris, CTV News, Toronto.
One person has died after a plane that took off from Canada crashed in Greenland. The Danish Airport Authority said the flight left Newfoundland and Labrador on Saturday. It disappeared from radar while flying north of Greenland's capital of Nuuk. There was only one person on board the plane. Authorities have not released any information about the identity of the victim. A man was sent to a hospital after a Monday morning crash in downtown Winnipeg. Winnipeg police say it happened around 7 a.m. As you can see, a truck collided into the side of a building on Smith Street. The vehicle, surrounded by pylons and wreckage, sustained severe front-end damage. A man was taken to hospital in unstable condition and later upgraded to stable. The cause is under investigation. The CFL has revealed that the 2027 Grey Cup will be played in Regina.
There is something truly special about football in Saskatchewan. It's more than a game, it's a way of life.
The city will host the 114th Grey Cup. Regina last hosted in 2022. In total, the Riders have hosted the Grey Cup Festival 5 times. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Starting today, the eastbound median lane will be closed on Portage Avenue between Knox and David. The northbound curb lane on Kenniston from Scurfield to Lindenwood Drive East will close following the morning rush. McIver will also be closed intermittently from Edker to Chornick. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share with us, please text them at 10400.
Still a little bit soggy out there, a drizzle, if you will, of rain still associated with this very large low pressure system that we've been grappling with the last day or so. 7 degrees out there, winds out of the north at 8 clicks, pressure rising, humidity at 99%. We should be saying goodbye to this rainfall later on today. You can see this kind of mammoth system here. It's stalled out over the southeast. We've reached out to Environment and Climate Change Canada to get some rainfall totals. They're likely to be highest around the western Red River Valley, the southern Interlake, because that is really where that system has been setting up shop and hanging out as it pushes out to northwestern Ontario later today. To the north, though, decently overcast skies for you. Slight chance of some rainfall in Gillam and Island Lake associated with that system. Churchill as well, with a little bit more in the pocket of sunshine. 9 degrees in Island Lake and Gillam, 7 in Thompson and Churchill. Northwestern Manitoba, slight chance of some rainfall in Norway House, the rest overcast. Oh, these systems are back, or these weather reporting facilities are back online. This is good news. 6 degrees in the Paw, 4 in Flin Flon, 5 in Lynn Lake. Southwestern Manitoba, a mix of sun and cloud, more in the way of sun into the later afternoons. Brandon at 9, same goes for Neepawa and Dauphin. Swan River touch colder at 7 degrees. For us here in South Central portion, similar highs, slight chance of some rainfall continuing into the afternoon in Steinbach, Sprague and Pinawa. Northwesterly winds will be strong as well at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. And that system is really starting to head on over into Ontario. So Kenora, Dryden, Fort Francis, you will likely see its wrath today. Kenora at 8 and Dryden, Fort Francis the same. Red Lake at 7. For us overnight, skies should begin to clear out with temperatures dipping down to -2 degrees. Tomorrow, our one chance for a number of days at some sunshine with still a decent high at 8 degrees. Reminder, 6 is what's typical for this time of year. But overnight, we could see some rainfall rolling in with temperatures dipping down to 2. And then we have different chances, if you will, increasing severity of rainfall through the rest of the week. Looking like a 60% chance on Friday of some rainfall, and you might want to pair that Halloween costume with an umbrella on Friday.
Thank you, Catherine. The U.S. ambassador to Canada says he doesn't expect any kind of trade deal between the two countries to be a priority before the new year. And as CTV's Mike Le Couture reports, that's not all he said.
I don't know how we get this back on track.
That comment after Ambassador Pete Hoekstra had a conversation with Donald Trump on Saturday, the same day the U.S. president threatened an additional 10% tariff on Canadian products.
He didn't give me any, clear indication or any indication at all that he was in any hurry to get back to the negotiating table and get an agreement.
While criticizing how Canadian media framed the recent breakdown of trade talks, the ambassador said Ontario's anti-tariff ad and comments by other premiers was akin to meddling in American affairs.
Doug Ford and Eby were starting to play in domestic American politics, potentially affecting a Supreme Court decision, potentially affecting politics, an election that is 8 days out, and for sure having an impact in the midterm elections.
Hoekstra admits American businesses are grappling with the uncertainty caused by the strained trading relationship between Canada and the U.S. But after the contentious commercial, the U.S. is taking no blame for the current state of the relationship.
Canada burnt the bridges with America. Donald Trump did not slam the door. Canada slammed that door shut all by itself.
The ambassador did say last week the U.S. had been confident sectoral deals could have been hammered out by American Thanksgiving. But now Hoekstra says he doesn't know what it'll take to get people back to the table in a constructive and positive mood.
Haunted, spooky, or just plain fun? Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love Halloween, especially those decorated yards and homes. And that's why we're looking for a Halloween house to highlight during our October 31st show. If you think yours fits the bill, you could win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center and have the chance to show off your Halloween house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, and submit some pictures. Good luck. If you haven't started your Halloween candy shopping yet, you could be in for a bit of a fright. A new report suggests households are spending more on trick-or-treaters, but are getting less. CTV's Danton Unger breaks it all down for us.
Winnipegger Stacey Cardigan-Smith is gearing up for what she expects will be a busy Halloween night.
We're in a neighborhood now that really goes gung-ho for Halloween.
But she says stocking up on sweet treats has been more costly this year.
Between the increased cost and the increased need for candy, it's definitely been a lot more than previous years.
According to the Halloween treat cost report out of Dalhousie University, Canadian households are spending 10 to 20% more on Halloween candy. But here's the catch. You won't necessarily see the increase on the price tag. That's because the sweet treats inside the wrappers are shrinking.
Pieces are much smaller, which tends to push households to give more.
This thanks to the soaring cost of cocoa beans, which have more than quadrupled in the past 2 years due to drought and crop disease in West Africa, where 70% of the world's cocoa beans are produced.
We're seeing prices that are 5-6 times higher.
Constance Menzies, the owner of chocolatier Constance Pop, says the higher cost of cocoa beans means a higher cost for her customers.
I'm holding a nice a bag of Halloween chocolate, and normally this would cost, for someone to purchase in our store, it would cost them $6 to buy a bag like this, but now it's $13.
And while some shoppers are planning to cut back this year,
they just won't get as much. That's all.
Cardigan-Smith says she believes the Halloween candy is worth every cent.
Seeing the joy on kids' faces, of course it's worth it.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with more Your Morning Winnipeg. Stay with us. It's Tuesday, October 28th. Today, HSC overflow. Winnipeg ER running at more than double capacity sparks concern from nurses. Plus, Hurricane Melissa, Jamaica braces for catastrophic winds and flooding as the storm strengthens. And marathon heartbreaker, 18 innings, 2 homers, and 1 epic loss for the Jays. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Manitoba, happy Tuesday to 7 a.m. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next couple of hours for you, including at 7:52. We're going to hear about North Forge. They're a non-profit incubator. Basically, they provide the space, the equipment, the tools, whatever you need for new emerging businesses. So all you need is an idea, and they'll help you make it happen. And they really support emerging businesses. Well, since they started, they have about 600 businesses that have gone through their doors, and now they want to celebrate that with a special awards ceremony. So we're going to find out about that award ceremony and how you could participate and even nominate someone.
I've seen the type of equipment that they offer these folks. It's amazing what they have.
Yeah.
So excited to learn more.
It's a good way to get started if you don't want to put the capital into starting a business yourself. The weather, though, the rain continues.
Yes, that's for sure, Rochelle. Although we are going to be seeing the tail end of this system as it continues to move into the northeast, we are getting a couple raindrops raindrops out there in the city currently. It's 7 degrees, a little bit overcast. Winds are light out of the north. They will be ramping up in due time. Details on that in a moment. Barometric pressure rising, humidity at 99%. So here's very much obviously the culprit of all that rainfall, a very broad low pressure system. You can see it's stalled out over the northeast here. So we're looking like expecting accumulations for rainfall values to be much higher than what we'll see here in Winnipeg. We're standing by from Environment and Climate Change Canada to get some updated totals. But as we look to our future cast, we'll see how this system will eventually leave us. So there it is. It's kind of vertical over the boundary, the border between Manitoba and Ontario. As the day progresses, it pushes off into northwestern Ontario and into the very northeast corner of our province, while we deal with a little bit of clouds, not only here in southern Manitoba, but to the north. Overnight tonight, skies begin to clear. Tomorrow is likely one of our few opportunities for some sunshine, because spoiler alert, we likely haven't seen the last of the rainfall. In terms of our temperatures, we're dealing with a high today of 9 degrees. 6 is what's seasonal for this time of year. Strong northwesterly winds ramping up later at 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Overnight temperatures dipping down to -2. There's that chance of sunshine tomorrow at a high of 8. Oh, Eli, Drew, my nemesis. These are Canadian geese getting ready to fly off for the season. But I love this photo, Eli. You did a wonderful job. Thanks for sending that in. And if you have any photos of your kids' weather-themed artwork, we would love to see them. Email us, winnipegweather@ctv.ca. We're going to be featuring one of them every day here on Your Morning Winnipeg.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
Crowded waiting rooms in Winnipeg's ERs are nothing new, but the Manitoba Nurses Union is calling a recent situation at Health Sciences Centre totally unacceptable. The Nurses Union says HSC's emergency department was running at a capacity of more than 200% for over a week. In a post on social media, President Darlene Jackson says at one point there were 120 patients waiting to be seen. Jackson says the overflow forced nurses to care for stroke patients in hallways, while other patients waited hours for treatment. This situation became so dire, some adult patients were redirected to the children's ER. PC health critic Kathleen Cook says this is evidence the NDP's plan to fix the healthcare system isn't working.
The NDP talks about numbers of so-called net new hires, but when an organization like the Manitoba Nurses Union can't get the data on where those nurses are, whether they're full-time or part-time or casual, and how many nurses have retired without paying a $2,000 fee estimate, it really makes me wonder how credible are the NDP's claims.
Manitoba Premier Wam Kanu says his government is working every day to improve emergency services.
Well, we check the numbers each and every day, and what I'm giving you is up to the minute, and it's pretty consistent with what we've been seeing. But like I said, people on the front lines do great work. We're doing a lot on the safety side to support them. We've done a ton on the staffing side, so we're going to keep working on that.
The Premier says currently the median wait time is 2 hours. According to Winnipeg Regional Health Authority's website, as of 3:30 this morning, the wait time at HSC's adult ER was 9.5 hours. More and more people are relying on food banks in Manitoba. Food Banks Canada released its annual hunger count report, and its findings show an alarming spike in our province. This year, Manitoba food banks averaged nearly 65,000 visits a month. That's a 17% increase from last year. And when compared to 2021, it's a 97% increase. 50% of the people using food banks in our province are single, with 25% relying on social assistance. However, the study found 17% of food bank users have jobs and 60% are renters. Every summer, we see crews out on the streets repairing our roads. Usually, they're laying down asphalt and gravel, but not always. Municipalities across the province are looking at different methods of road repair, some using eco-friendly means of construction. And as CTV's Joseph Bernacki shows you, material from recycled tires is being used to repair some country roads.
There's a new game in town when it comes to building materials for road construction: recycled tires.
I love doing this job. I can take the garbage that they used to bury in the landfills and I can put it in a road.
Peter Schrader and his team have rebuilt roads across Manitoba for 20 years, processing old rubber tires into what's called tire-derived aggregate Type B. The tires are shredded using a 250 horsepower hybrid shredder using 2 circular hook knives. The broken down material is vital for stopping water from rising up into the roadbed above it. Schrader says problems can persist in gravel roads from 4 feet into the ground.
Once the water's in the roadbed in the fall, it freezes what they refer to as a frost lens. We have to get down there and we have to take corrective measures.
He says once the water thaws in the spring, gravel roads can be damaged from the resulting expansion, leaving soft spots. That's where his team comes in using recycled rubber. After excavating and putting some of the material underneath, the road is compacted and ready for drivers.
Before you know it, we've got it right up to the top. Maybe it's a foot or so higher, and the road has load-bearing properties.
It's a rebuilding process Schrader has used recently in Gimli, the RM of Stanley, and the RM of Yellowhead. Yellowhead Council says it was a no-brain decision.
The success stories that other municipalities had with the method, but plus it was kind of a win-win. It was a way to use up some of the tires that were piling up and put them to good use at a reasonable cost.
Another selling point, Mayor Starzyk says the municipality received funding for the roadwork from Tire Stewardship Manitoba.
The important part of our grant is to support the market and to demonstrate the product for RMs, let them know that this is something that's available and that it works.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Jays don't have much time to get ready for their next game after losing an 18-inning heartbreaker in Los Angeles.
Ohtani on a center cut fastball. Blast one and ties it.
Shohei Ohtani hit his second home run of the night in the bottom of the 7th to tie the game up at 5. The Jays would walk him 5 times after that hit. With the game tied at 5, both teams had their chances to take the lead, but no one was able to capitalize until the 18th inning.
Los Angeles. Freeman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the catch strikes midnight. Freddie Freeman has ended it.
That solo shot from Freddie Freeman gave the Dodgers the 6-5 win. They now lead the series 2-1. Game 3 took 6 hours and 39 minutes to play. It tied the longest game by innings in World Series history. Game 4 in the series goes tonight in LA. Start time is 7 p.m. Central. Here's a look at what's happening now on the Norwood Bridge. Looks like things are moving well despite the rain. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know. Text them to us at 10400.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Canadian uranium producer Cameco and Brookfield Asset Management stand to benefit from an $80 billion deal between the U.S. government and Westinghouse to build nuclear reactors. Cameco is a major owner of Westinghouse, and this will strengthen its position as a key supplier as the North American nuclear industry powers back up. Amazon says it is cutting 14,000 jobs in a major restructuring of its corporate workforce. That number, though, could grow to 30,000. The company says it is further reducing bureaucracy and shifting resources to areas that best serve the customer. Amazon employs 1.55 million people around the globe, but again, that number may be shrinking as AI use grows. Ottawa is moving to ban non-compete agreements at federally regulated workplaces, including banks. The federal government says this will boost labor mobility and give workers the freedom to move to better-paying jobs or start their own businesses. Ontario banned most non-competes in 2021. The U.S. government tried to do the same in 2024, but a court ruled against it. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live with the Bear Clan Patrol this morning. They do a lot of important work in our community, and they have a lot of new things going on as well. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. We're on Alfred Street right now. We haven't quite head outside yet. It's still a little bit dark, but we're talking about patrols that Bear Clan does, and Friday alone, they picked up over 250 needles. Just to give you an idea of how much they're seeing and what they're seeing. The people they're seeing as well, they're handing out sandwiches, water, granola bars, and really providing that community approach to our community, I should say. Volunteers, they're looking for them. We're going to be chatting with one coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. They also work with missing persons reports alongside the Winnipeg Police Service daily. They're hearing from these calls, multiple of them. So lots to get to this morning. I just don't have time to get it all in right now.
Okay, well, we'll check in a little later for more. Thank you, Ainsley. Out on the rooftop, you need to be ready for more rain today.
Yeah, I've got our rain gauge out here, taking it out of frame for some reason. We're almost at an inch, so the rain started falling yesterday, so that's about 16 millimeters worth. Put this back in as I continue my forecast. So the rainfall has actually ramped up again here in downtown since I was last here. 7 degrees currently, northwesterly winds very light, barometric pressure rising, humidity sits at 100%. So hopefully this is the last kick of the can for this system, this very broad low pressure system that moved in over the southwest corner of the province. It's moved out of that region, has really been hovering over the southeast, stalling out, Environment and Climate Change Canada says. So we're still waiting to hear back on accumulations. We're likely expecting the largest to be in the western Red River Valley, southern Interlake. Though, once it moves into northwestern Ontario, we in the south will be dealing with cloudy skies. Temperatures slightly above seasonal. Much across the province will be uniform. 9 degrees is what we're looking at here in Winnipeg. 6 is what's seasonal. I mentioned the strong northwesterly winds. Oh, into the north, overcast skies for you. Temperatures on par with what we're seeing here, but with some lighter winds.
Thank you, Catherine. Time now for our question of the day. It's National Chocolate Day, so we want to know, what's your favorite chocolate bar? You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. Haunted, spooky, or just plain fun. Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love Halloween, especially those decorated yards and homes. And that's why we're looking for a Halloween house to highlight during our October 31st show. If you think yours fits the bill, you could win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center and have the chance to show off your Halloween house live on Your Morning Winnipeg with a visit from Ainsley McPhail. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca, fill out the form and submit some pictures. Good luck. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with some entertainment news. Stay with us. Good morning. The search for the remains of a woman killed by a convicted serial killer will begin at a Winnipeg landfill in December.
We're moving ahead to the next steps, which involve hiring the searchers. We've done sort of our preliminary test search already. This is very much the same process we used at Prairie Green Landfill.
Ashley Shingoose was one of 4 First Nations women killed by Jeremy Skibitsky in 2022. A preliminary search began at Brady Road Landfill in August using excavators and ground-penetrating radar tests to narrow down the search area. A search of another landfill for the remains of Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron, who were also killed by the same person, wrapped up last summer after their bodies were found. Last year, Skibitsky was convicted of first-degree murder in the women's deaths and sentenced to life in prison. Hurricane Melissa is now bearing down on Jamaica. This hurricane is being called the strongest storm anywhere in the world this year.
I don't believe there's any infrastructure within this region that could withstand a Category 5 storm, so there could be significant dislocation.
Jamaica hasn't taken a direct hit from a hurricane in more than a decade. Jamaica has never felt the impact of a hurricane stronger than a Category 4 in recorded history. Melissa has been at Category 5 status for longer than 24 hours now and seems to be getting stronger. The National Hurricane Center is warning of landslides, catastrophic flash flooding, and winds that may cause total structural failure. Winds have been recorded at 280 kilometers an hour. Parts of Jamaica could see nearly 80 centimeters of rain. The storm has already been blamed for 7 deaths in the Northern Caribbean. Are you a talented quilter, photographer, or maybe podcast producer? The Winnipeg Public Library wants to hear from you. It's now accepting applications for next year's Makers in Residence. The program pairs people who are skilled in visual or creative arts, technology, or digital media with people who want to learn. Successful applicants will offer several weekly open studio drop-ins at the Millennium Library. There are 3 terms, each running 15 weeks, beginning in January, May, and September. You can head to winnipeg.ca/maker-in-residence to learn more and apply. The deadline is November 17th. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic at Kenaston and Sterling Lyon. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive this morning. If you see any problems out there, though, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Time now for some entertainment news. A Canadian singer-songwriter is stepping away from performing. In a social media post, Nelly Furtado says she plans to focus on other artistic endeavors that, quote, better suit this next phase of life. The 46-year-old has been touring in support of her 7th studio album. Furtado is also marking the 25th anniversary of her first release, Whoa Nelly, and says seeing a new generation of fans enjoy her music has been, quote, surreal and joyful. A popular hit maker, a Canadian singer-songwriter, and some Manitoba musicians are among the nominees for the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Taylor Swift is on the ballot for the 2026 class. She's on the ballot with Kenny Loggins, LL Cool J, Pink, as well as Canadian Sarah McLachlan and the Guess Who's Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings, who are returning nominees. The Songwriters Hall of Fame was established in 1969 to honor those creating popular music. Members have until December 4th to vote for up to 3 nominees in each of 2 categories. Jon Stewart says he wants to stay on as host of Comedy Central's The Daily Show after his current contract expires in December. Speaking at the New Yorker Festival in Manhattan Sunday, he says he's, quote, working on staying. Stewart first hosted The Daily Show from 1999 to 2015. He returned last year to host its Monday episodes. Correspondents with the satirical newscast have been taking turns filling in as hosts during the rest of the week. Stewart is one of the biggest stars on cable and outspoken in his opposition to President Donald Trump. He's also been equally outspoken about his support of late-night comedy. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with MasterChef Canada. The Traders Canada follows at 8, and High Potential is next at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
The rain has picked up again this hour in downtown Winnipeg and across much of the city. 7 degrees, those winds out of the northwest at 8 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising. Humidity sits at 100%. We're hoping this is the last gasp of this system that's been bringing a widespread rainfall throughout southern Manitoba, most notably southeastern Manitoba, since yesterday morning. Temperatures are decently warm for this time of year and this time of day. 7 in Morden and Winkler and Portage La Prairie, 8 in Gimli. A little bit cooler to the southwest. 2 in Brandon, 3 in Dauphin, 0 in Swan River. Up north, temperatures decent, almost on par with what we're seeing here in certain pockets. Island Lake is downright balmy at 9 degrees, while the Paw and Lynn Lake are below freezing. In terms of your school day forecast, you do want to pack the kids with a little bit of rain gear because we're not totally sure when this morning this rain will taper off. So as they head out, could get a little bit soggy. 6 degrees under those cloudy skies with that slight chance of rain. By lunchtime, it should be nice and dry and clear. Well, not clear. We'll still deal with the clouds, 8 degrees. And then on the way home, heating up slightly to 9 degrees, which is also our high. And in turn with those cloudy skies, we'll be dealing with some very strong northwesterly winds at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. Temperatures dipping down to -2 overnight as skies clear out. Those winds ease nicely. And tomorrow, some sunshine to enjoy, and it's going to be our last chance of that for the week to come, likely. 8 degrees. Thursday, a 60% chance of some rainfall coming from Environment and Climate Change Canada. And then on trick-or-treating day, potentially you're going to need that umbrella and some rain gear to go with your mask and your cape. Your Skywatch picture of the day, this one taken by Angie in Broken Head. Just a stunning shot of that rainbow. Thank you so much, Angie, for snapping it and sending it our way. And if you've got any weather pictures, you can always email us at winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Catherine. We're about to make one of our viewers' morning a whole lot richer. For the past few weeks, we've been giving you the chance to enter to win a staggering $20,000. And now it's time to announce our lucky winner. Congratulations to Al Priadel. You are the winner of CTV Your Morning's $20,000 giveaway. Congratulations, Al Priadel. And thank you for tuning in and making CTV Your Morning a part of your daily routine. Have fun spending the $20,000. At Your Morning Winnipeg, are all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. Some retailers around here say shoplifting has evolved from a nuisance to a serious threat. The Retail Council of Canada says some stores are actually facing bankruptcy because of it. CTV's Callum Smith has details.
A security system and surveillance cameras captured 2 suspects breaking into the Oxford tap room over the summer. Beer and iPads were stolen, but thankfully tills were locked, so no money was lost. Given the stories the general manager has heard from other businesses,
I kind of consider us lucky that it wasn't worse and that didn't do more damage than they did.
But Halifax police say no arrests were made. The general manager says harsher penalties should be imposed for repeat offenders of retail crime.
We just don't want to see our downtowns closed and shuttered, bars on windows. We want our downtowns to be vibrant and safe.
The Retail Council of Canada is again sounding the alarm in an op-ed, saying, quote, retail crime is not just a business problem, it's a national crisis. This is our 911 call.
People are starting to understand that it's a very organized way of stealing. You can do resell through online marketplaces now, where you can sell, unlimited amounts of product,
leading to unsafe working environments and communities, in part because criminals
understand that because of the catch and release nature of the justice system, that you can come in and steal. If you're arrested, you're going to be let go within the matter of a day with little to no conditions. So it's really created that vicious circle.
This has been ongoing for, 42 years that I've been here, actually. Nobody's doing anything about retail crime at all.
The federal Liberals say harsher penalties are coming for organized retail theft, specifically new aggravating factors for sentencing.
These most prolific offenders are able to be granted bail again and again, in some cases 20, 25 times before ultimately being detained pre-trial.
And in previous years, he says sentences could be 30 to 45 days. Now 3 to 10 days is more common. Callum Smith, CTV News.
Coming up, we're live with the Bear Clan Patrol this morning. They're telling us what they've been up to and what's coming next. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We're talking about the Bear Clan Patrol, the important work they do, especially when someone goes missing. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Angela Clausen joins us now to tell us all about that, and the numbers are rising. So when somebody is reported missing, you guys work alongside the Winnipeg Police Service. Tell us a little bit about that process.
Well, our protocols have changed a little bit lately. So right now, to file a missing persons report with us, you need a missing persons report number, a photo of the missing person, their name, and then when folks are contacting us, they need to provide us with the information of their relationship to the missing person and their contact information. Mm-hmm. We'll take that, apply for a missing persons community below, and then it goes out to all the organization, all of the community organizations, so that there's more eyes and ears on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And you were telling me that these numbers are increasing. On a day-to-day, what does that look like for someone in your position?
Well, there's only one of us that is working on the Missing Persons Initiative, doing the hands-on work. And I see probably anywhere from 10 people calling me a day, looking for their loved one. So that number is surprising. This month alone, so far, we've done 47 missing persons, and that number will rise by the end of the day. So,
wow. Something else you wanted people to know too is that it's all ages.
Yeah, they go from the youngest person we've had on our page was 4 to 93. So it's all ages, all walks of life, all areas. It's just really, really important to file that missing persons report with police. Then let us know, and we'll get out and look for your folks.
Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, thankfully, these individuals are located safely, but you want people to be reporting, and you want to have more community involvement.
Definitely. As folks may notice, on our page, we've changed some of our wording. So it says, now lately we've been doing found, not saying whether they're found safe or But if it says found, we're going to say that they're safe. If they're not found safe, we will let you know that it is otherwise.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Ange, thank you so much. The amazing work that she and the others at Bear Clan are doing. Back to you.
Thank you, Ainsley. All right, if you're going outside today, you're going to need some rubber boots and an umbrella and maybe even a raincoat.
Yeah, it's because this low pressure system isn't quite done with us yet. It's 7 degrees out there, starting to intensify a little bit with that rainfall. Should be the last gasp of this system. Winds are light out in the northwest. The barometric pressure is rising. Humidity sits at 100%. Hot off the presses, I have some rainfall totals for you folks. It's looking like broadly in the Red River Valley, we got between 20 and 40 millimeters worth. The highest accumulations were near the international border. Emerson got 40, Gardenton slightly more at 40.2, Winnipeg at the airport 23 degrees, 28.6 at the Forks. This is the culprit behind that. It's going to push off into the northeast, moving into Ontario a little later on today, and leaving behind it some fairly cloudy skies. 9 degrees will be our high, and those winds out of the north will intensify at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. Overnight temperatures dipping down to -2. Skies begin to clear, and those winds easing nicely out of the west at 15 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, if you love the sunshine, get out and enjoy, because that's going to be the last time it shows its true face for the next couple of days to come. 8 degrees with some light winds under clear sunny skies. From there, yes, it's looking to be quite the soggy back half of this week. 5 degrees on Thursday with a good chance of some rainfall. Friday, slight less chance of getting the showers, but a chance nonetheless, so maybe get ready to pair your trick-or-treat bags, your masks, and your capes with a good amount of rain gear, because it could get wet out there.
A Winnipeg bus driver is in hospital after being assaulted on the job Monday afternoon. Police allege the suspect was a passenger who's still at large. Officers were called to East Kildonan shortly after 2 p.m. to an assault near Gateway and Springfield Roads. Police say a bus driver was brought to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They allege it was a passenger who assaulted the driver. No one was arrested at the scene, and police are now looking for the suspect. Major Crimes is investigating. Charges are being laid after a gravely injured man was dropped off at Portage La Prairie's hospital. Mounties say on Saturday, a seriously injured 30-year-old man was driven to the local hospital, dropped off, and the vehicle then left. The man was pronounced dead. Police later found the vehicle at a Portage home. They arrested and charged a 29-year-old woman with manslaughter. The charge has not yet been tested. She's due in court at a later date. Manitoba's NDP government reintroduced ankle monitors to the justice system toolbox last year. They said it would improve public safety by clamping down on repeat offenders. Now new data has been released on the program's effectiveness so far.
If you look at the numbers, if we just look at people who've been through the program, the success rate is like 11%.
61% of the people fitted with ankle monitor devices in Manitoba since last year have been rearrested or breached conditions. That's according to new data shared by Manitoba's Justice Minister. Out of the 530 people ordered to wear ankle monitors, 243 were rearrested for committing another crime or breaching conditions. Premier Wamkanu argues the high number of rearrests are a sign the ankle monitors are working as intended.
Well, there's a deterrence component, but yeah, if somebody's breaching bail, you should go arrest them.
But PC Justice critic Wayne Balkin says the program is failing and the province should prioritize crime prevention. When the NDP announced the program last year, they earmarked just under $3 million for it over 2 years. But an expansion this summer, doubling the number of ankle monitors to 200, brought the total outlay to roughly $4 million. Former Manitoba Premier Heather Stephenson has paid an $18,000 fine for violating the province's conflict of interest law in pushing for a mining project. Legislature Speaker Tom Lindsay says Stephenson submitted the payment last week, and one of her former cabinet ministers, Jeff Wharton, has also paid his $10,000 fine. Cliff Cullen, a former deputy premier, was also fined $12,000. He's left politics and has not spoken publicly on the matter. Earlier this month, members of the legislature approved the recommended penalties in a report from the Ethics Commissioner. The report says Stephenson tried to get a mining project approved after her Progressive Conservatives lost the 2023 election and before the NDP government could be sworn in. Stephenson said she was acting in the public's interest, had no personal stake in the project. In the end, no license was issued. U.S. President Donald Trump paid a visit to a U.S. naval base in Japan this morning.
Japan respects us. If you see what's going on all over the world, they're respecting us again. They respect us like never before.
President Trump is in the middle of a 5-day Asia tour. He will meet with South Korea's president tomorrow before talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Thursday. Yesterday, the U.S. and Japan signed a framework agreement for rare earth and critical minerals. The U.S. also has struck similar deals with Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. These materials are critical in making electronics, and the market is dominated by China. Monday was Election Day in Nunavut. Voters from 22 constituencies went to the polls to elect the next members of the Legislative Assembly. There are no parties to pick from, as the territory has a consensus style of government rather than a multi-party system. Candidates in Nunavut run as independents, and the one with the most votes in the constituency becomes the MLA. After the election, the MLAs will select the Speaker, Premier, and ministers in a secret ballot election. Taking a look at the current traffic situation now along Osborne Street. It looks like things are moving well over here, but there is a collision to tell you about, and it's causing delays at Notre Dame and Route 90. Damaged vehicles and tow vehicles remain in the eastbound curb lanes. If you have any traffic tips or other updates to share with us, please text them to us. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.33. The provincial average is lower at $1.28. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.28, and the lowest price in the city is $1.11. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Right now it is 7 degrees and it's raining. We'll be back after this short break.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
That rainfall continues in Winnipeg, but it should be tapering off in the next hour or so. It's 7 degrees out there. The winds are out of the northwest. Pressure is on the rise. Humidity sits at 100%. So we finally got some rainfall totals. Broadly speaking, about 20 to 40 millimeters fell between yesterday morning and currently. And the highest accumulations were felt around the international border around Emerson, which saw upwards of 40 millimeters, while we here in Winnipeg saw around 23 to 25 millimeters. Currently, that same system that's been causing all that rainfall is stalled out over the southeast. It should push off into the northeast, leaving us behind with some cloudy skies. To the north, there is a chance of you getting a taste of it as well. Island Lake and Gillam and Churchill, all around these easterly parts of the province, could be getting their umbrellas out and joining the fun that we've been experiencing here in Winnipeg. Temperatures, though, above seasonal. 9 degrees in Gillam and Island Lake, 7 in Churchill and Thompson, likely to stay dry. The northwest, likely overcast skies for you. Temperatures a few degrees cooler. 6 in the Paw, 8 in Norway House, Flin Flon at 4, Lynn Lake at 6. Westman, you've been dry for a good amount of time. That system moved you off of your neck of the woods quicker. You're dealing with a mix of sun and cloud today, more in the way of cloud in the morning. 9 in Brandon and Dauphin, 8 in Neepawa, 7 in Swan River. For us here, as we contend with the last gasps of that system, we'll also get some strong northwesterly winds at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. And northwestern Ontario, you also get to enjoy a bit of rainfall today as that low pressure system begins to hover over your province. 7 degrees in Kenora and Red Lake, 8 in Dryden and Fort Francis. Overnight, we'll see skies start to clear out here in Winnipeg. Temperatures dipping down to -2. A little bit of sunshine to enjoy on Thursday. There we go. Or Wednesday. Wednesday comes before Thursday, and then Thursday is when we get that rainfall back.
Thank you, Catherine. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail. Oh, you're outside now with Bear Clan Patrol, and tell us a little bit more about what's going on with them lately.
Well, rain or shine, Rochelle, and the rain is just if I put my calf out like this, but they're way more brave than I am. I said, okay, well, let's just do it where there's light and the rain's not hitting us. Nick knows something different, though. He's one of their volunteers. You guys are out in all the elements.
Yeah, no matter what, rain or shine, snow, doesn't matter. We're always going out with Bear Clan.
How long have you been volunteering with them, and how did it all start?
I've been volunteering with them just under 2 years now. I originally met Kevin working through 190 Disraeli, and from there we just became good friends, and I wanted to start walking with them and give back.
Tell us about that experience. What's it like patrolling?
It gives you a really sense of community, right? You're walking with your group, you're handing out sandwiches, granola bars, water, whatever it might be. And it's just almost that heart work, right? Just helping people really gives a sense of giving back.
Mm-hmm. And there might be people at home watching going, is that me? Or, so if someone is at home and they're on the fence, why should they volunteer?
Because you can join us and have a lot of fun. We go out there and we give back to community in multiple senses. One for ourselves, but also for the rest of the relatives out there.
And are you seeing the impact over time? Because our city, like all cities, face their challenges. Do you feel like it truly is making a difference when you're out there in the street?
I like to always go by the phrase that Kevin has kind of coined. We can't change the world, but we could definitely change somebody's day in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I won't ask you to name names or anything like that, but any situations that come to mind where it's made you feel good?
I think every time I go out there, I feel pretty good just helping out the community. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything else that you want people to know?
Come check out our website or our social medias if you want to come walk with us. It would be awesome to have you guys.
Thank you so much. You've been spending the morning with Bear Clan Patrol. They're doing so much in our community, whether it be handing out sandwiches, picking up needles, or even assisting with missing persons cases with the Winnipeg Police Service. Stay with us throughout the morning as we learn more.
Thank you, Ainsley. Families and educators have long been suggesting that online safety skills are something students need, much like math and reading. And as CTV's Josh Morano shows us, Google is bringing the hands-on lesson to Canadian schools.
Inside Ottawa's Immaculata High School, grade 4 to 6 students are getting a crash course in internet safety.
It's really important for us to be internet safe because we're just kids and we're students.
And they should be unique for every website.
Google trainers teaching kids to protect their passwords and personal information.
Kids these days are online more than we ever were. So to make the best out of the web, we believe kids should be equipped with decision-making power, so to make the right decisions.
We need to learn how to keep our things safe and how to not lose your items, lose your address, or just be in danger.
The lessons also focusing on empathy and treating others with respect.
We want them to be as safe as possible online, and we want them to learn the skills and to build the competencies to be able to be online.
The Ottawa Catholic School Board says families should stay involved, even if their kids are tech savvy.
We want to make sure our kids leave our system prepared and understand the implications and innovations that come with technology and how they can grow and leave a positive digital footprint in the world.
What's important for parents is to be there, to keep the lines of communication open, to set with, as a family, to decide how you're going to use technology in your home, what those rules are.
Students say they'll be putting these new skills into action right away.
So not use the same password for everything. I may or may not do that, but
I feel like this makes me feel more safe about going on there.
Google's online safety roadshow will visit more schools in Ottawa and across Canada. Josh Morano, CTV News.
100 athletes in southern China took on this wild, watery challenge over the weekend. This is the largest waterfall in Asia. The Huangoshu waterfall stands at nearly 80 meters tall and 101 meters wide. Besides solo canoeing over it, athletes also took part in a long-distance race in some nearby waterways, which present their own hazards. Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 24th birthday to Justin, with love from your family. Happy sweet 16th birthday, Michaela. Love Mom, Dad, Wyatt, Emma Lee, and Joannie. Happy birthday, Lois, with love from all your family. Happy 18th birthday, Jaden. Love Mom, Dad, Drayden, Leighton, Peyton, and Jordan. Happy 40th birthday to Ron from your loving family, Arlene, Kaylee, Jordan, and Layla. Happy 71st birthday, Veronica. Love Tom and your friends and family. Happy sweet 16th birthday, Aubrey, with love from your dad, Megan and Rayla. And a happy 2nd birthday to Hannah. Love, Nana. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather is brought to you by MJ the Musical at Centennial Concert Hall, November 5th to 9th.
Today our high is above seasonal, to be sure, about 3 degrees, but it's considerably cooler than the high we got last year at 14.9 and well off that record set all the way back in 1903. We're still a little ways away from sunrise as well, maybe about 20 minutes. 7 degrees as that rain continues here in Winnipeg. Winds are out of the northwest at 8 clicks. Pressure is rising. Humidity sits at 100%. We're hoping to see the end of this rainfall this morning in the next hour or so. However, this widespread low pressure system has been a pesky guest if you don't like the rain. It's been here since yesterday morning. It will be moving off into the northeast later on today, leaving behind cloudy skies here in southern Manitoba. Temperatures for us here in Winnipeg at 9. 6 is what's typical, as we just showed you. Meanwhile, we'll have some very strong northwesterly winds throughout many portions of the Red River Valley at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. A few degrees cooler in southwestern Manitoba, while the north will deal with overcast skies. Slight chance for some rainfall in those very easterly communities. Overnight here in Winnipeg, skies start to clear out. Temperatures dip a few degrees below freezing as those winds ease. Tomorrow, the sunshine is back out, a touch cooler with a high of 8 degrees, and the rainfall is likely back in time for Thursday.
Thank you, Catherine. North Forge is a nonprofit incubator where Manitobans can access the tools, the advice of experts, and equipment to get their business ideas started. It helps entrepreneurs get their ideas to market. The incubator is hosting its first ever DARE Innovation Awards to celebrate and recognize entrepreneurs who have come through North Forge with their ideas and innovation. Joining us now to tell us more about the DARE Innovation Awards is Devin Shuchuk from North Forge. Good morning, Devin.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, before we get started to the awards, let's talk about North Forge. Yeah. What is that exactly? And if somebody's never heard of you, what do you do there?
So North Forge is a nonprofit incubator that supports startups, specifically in tech, STEM, and advanced manufacturing. So we essentially help entrepreneurs who maybe have never even worked or founded a business before go from ideation to investment readiness. So it's a 4-stage founders program that we offer. We also have the largest publicly accessible fabrication lab in North America. So if you want to go and do rapid prototyping, or you're just a creative person, you want to build, you can come to our fab lab. So I call it like a gym membership, but for creatives. Okay. Because you pay a monthly fee for the Fab Lab, and then you can go and you can use a laser room, 3D printing, carpentry room, a metal shop. And that is aside to our core programming, which is the Founders Program, and is cost-free to all Manitobans because we solely exist to just help people build out their business ideas and support economic growth in the province.
So for businesses, if they have an idea but they don't want to buy all that equipment, they don't need to. They can go to the North Forge and, you know, sort of start their business, get their ideas started, and then if sales start, then they can make their own investments. That's the plan, right?
Exactly, and that is the biggest thing is we want to help catch entrepreneurs before they fall. Think about if you have a business idea and you start investing a ton of money, a ton of time, and then it doesn't work. Now, that's normal in entrepreneurs on the entrepreneurial world, is that, you know, failure is a thing that happens, but we don't want you to invest money, so much money, before you fail. Come to us, we'll help you. Say like, hey, I have this idea, and we'll take you through market validation. Maybe the idea is amazing, or maybe it's not, and that's okay. But we're gonna be there to support you and help you test that idea to make sure that it's profitable for you and beneficial for all involved.
And you've seen some real success since North Forge began. We're talking about 600 successful businesses?
So that's the thing. We've supported since mid-2020 over 600 startups. Now, do all of them still exist today? Not all of them, but that's okay, because in the life of an entrepreneur, you test, you have ideas, and sometimes they continue and sometimes they don't. But of the successful businesses that are still running, we have created over 1,200 full-time equivalent jobs in Manitoba, and those businesses have raised over $40 million in capital.
That is cool. Okay, so right now you're looking for people to sort of elect someone as a winner of as an innovator, right?
Yes.
Tell us about your DARE Awards.
Okay, so the DARE Innovation Awards, the best thing about this is that it's actually open to people who are not involved in North Forge programming. This is going to be a premier entrepreneurial event celebrating all entrepreneurs across industries in Manitoba. So this is happening on February 24th, 2026 at the Royal Aviation Museum of Western Canada. And what it is it is a gala, an evening to celebrate Manitobans. Find that Manitobans are so humble and rarely talk about themselves. So we are calling for nominations at dareinnovationawards.com. Well, there are 9 different award categories that we are celebrating. Innovation in film and media, Indigenous innovation, innovation in biosciences, a Legacy Innovator Award for, you know, a company or a person who has helped shape Manitoba into the entrepreneurial landscape it is.
That's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Well, we do have a link on our website, so if you're looking for more information or you want to nominate a business, you can find more details there. Thank you, Devin, for sharing this with us.
Thank you so much.
Hello there, Kara Wagland inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. And before we take you to Pittsburgh for yet another milestone moment for Sidney Crosby. Third period, Crosby gets sent in on the breakaway. His initial shot is stopped, but he pounces on the rebound and scores. One of 3 points on the night for Crosby. He becomes just the 9th player in NHL history to reach 1,700 career points and also earns your must-see moment from Monday. And coming up Tuesday on TSN, MLS playoffs continue. We have Charlotte in action taking on New York City. Coverage for that one gets underway at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's all for now from Sports Center. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds, helping your home get holiday ready with Blinds by Hunter Douglas.
It's Tuesday, October 28th. Vulnerable vehicles. Football players return from a road trip to find their cars vandalized in a campus parking lot. Melissa bears down on Jamaica. The worst storm in the world this year could bring devastation to the island nation within hours. And old rubber tires gain new traction, protecting roads from cold weather's damaging effects. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next hour. Halloween is on Friday, so we're going to have a makeup artist giving us some pointers on how to get your makeup done just right for Halloween. We have 2 different looks for you. I don't want to give it away just yet, so you'll have to stay tuned. There's one segment at 8:15 and the other one at 8:45. 2 different makeup looks from a real professional makeup artist.
Could use it because I look scary most mornings. So any tips to help?
Those puddles out there, though, could be scary. They're deep and they're continuing to fill up.
Yes, a word to the wise pedestrian. Make sure you're keeping tabs on where those puddles are, and if oncoming traffic could do their best to go over them safely, not at too high speeds when that's possible, so that you can keep those pedestrians dry. But yes, you'll also need an umbrella this morning to do that because that system continues to shower over us. 7 degrees here in Winnipeg. Winds are light out of the northwest. The barometric pressure is rising. Humidity sits at 100%. So this very broad, deep, low pressure system that has been, as mentioned, showering much of Manitoba, southern Manitoba to be specific, with rainfall, is starting to lose its grip on us. It's starting to push out, but it really has been stalled out over the southeast. Broadly, about 20 to 40 millimeters has fallen across the Red River Valley. For us here at different parts of Winnipeg, it's more about 25 millimeters. The strongest, highest accumulations, rather, are around the international border. Emerson saw about 40 millimeters. So this system here is kind of vertical over our province. As the day progresses, it moves off into northwestern Ontario, and some very easterly, northeasterly parts of our province could also deal with the rainfall today as it leaves our neck of the woods. Meanwhile, we'll deal with some cloud coverage today. Temperatures seasonal, and we'll have a little bit of a clearer night ahead as those clouds start to leave our sky, setting the stage for our last chance at some sunshine for this week, to the point that we get some rainfall into time for the back end of this week, so those trick-or-treaters might be getting a little bit soggy in addition to their Kit Kats. Your weather art of the day, Eli drew this of the adorable Canadian geese getting ready to fly away for the season. Thank you to Eli for drawing that, for his parents and loved ones for sending it in. And if you have any pictures of your weather-themed artwork, email us.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
The University of Manitoba football players returned from an away game this weekend to find their vehicles vandalized. This is what they found at 3:30 Sunday morning after the team came back from their weekend game in Saskatchewan. 8 players had their vehicles vandalized while parked at the university's outdoor soccer field. John Moore, the parent of one of the players, is concerned none of the vehicle owners was called when it happened. He's calling for increased security at the school.
They did say they knew about it, and all they did was put a piece of paper on their window saying the incident report.
A statement from the University of Manitoba to CTV News says its security services responded, and people were also encouraged to report the incidents to the Winnipeg Police Service and their insurer. They say the investigation is now with Winnipeg Police. Jamaica is bracing for impact this morning as the world's most powerful storm of the year gets closer and closer to making landfall. Hurricane Melissa is set to pummel Jamaica as a catastrophic Category 5 storm, which is the strongest to lash the island since record keeping began 174 years ago. The storm is expected to bring up to 100 centimeters of rain and up to 4 meters of storm surge. The government has said it's done all it can to prepare for the storm. The Red Cross says the storm could impact 1.5 million people in Jamaica alone. It's also expected to impact Cuba and then head toward the Bahamas. There's a new twist on the saying where the rubber meets the road. Now the rubber is actually under the road thanks to a new repaving program which sees tires recycled and repurposed.
I love doing this job. I can take the garbage that they used to bury in the landfills and I can put it in a road.
Peter Schrader and his team have rebuilt roads across Manitoba for 20 years, processing old rubber tires for use in repaving roads. The shredded rubber helps stop water from rising up into the roadbed above it. He says once the water thaws in the spring, gravel roads can be damaged from the resulting expansion, leaving soft spots. After excavating and putting some of the rubber material underneath, the road is compacted and ready for drivers. It's a rebuilding process Schrader has used recently in Gimli, the RM of Stanley, and the RM of Yellowhead. Yellowhead Council says it was an easy decision.
The success stories that other municipalities had with the method, but plus it was kind of a win-win. It was a way to use up some of the tires that were piling up and put them to good use at a reasonable cost.
Another selling point for the program, Mayor Starrick says the municipality received funding for the road work from Tire Stewardship Manitoba. UNICEF is tapping into some Halloween nostalgia, bringing back the Halloween box. Kind of. It's actually a new shirt. The shirt is selling online for $50. It obviously has a throwback look to it with a 90s UNICEF box, but it also includes a QR code for donations. Those didn't exist in the 90s. UNICEF says proceeds from the shirts will fund programs around the world, including education, safe water, vaccines, and health care for children. Here's what's happening now at Main and Broadway. Looks like things are moving well in this part of the city. No issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see any problems, though, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's with Bear Clan Patrol this morning. And Bear Clan would not be possible without the help of volunteers, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. I was telling Kevin, stop laughing. Seriously, this is very, very serious. No, you and the volunteers, you've really developed a community, and that's what this whole approach is about when it comes to Bear Clan. How important is that?
I think having the community involved is of number one importance. We have members that are straight from the community, and we have members from all walks of life that are joining us now, and I think that's what brings the harmony to the community.
Mm-hmm. And you're calling out, you want more volunteers. Downtown safety, obviously extremely important, but sometimes overlooked is the other pockets of our city.
Sure, yeah, it's not just a downtown problem, it's a throughout the city problem, and I think having different chapters throughout the city really helps make a difference. We're in the North End as well as West Broadway downtown and Northwest in Tyndall Park area.
Where do you think the greatest need is right now in terms of the volunteer gap?
I think the inner city is always going to be a bit of challenges. I'm sure the West End, Central, and of course the downtown area as well is always busy with different challenges.
Volunteers can come in many ways, shapes, and forms. People are getting creative now if they want to help. If say they're even outside of Winnipeg.
For sure.
What are some good examples?
Yeah, we have several people from the town of Beausejour wanting to help out. We've had some people last year donating a bunch of clothing and things like that. And then this year we have a lady that's going to be making us sewing mitts for us and handing them out to the community. So it's super important.
Okay, all the Bobbas watching, you better get those knitting needles ready. You're going to get a whole bunch. Yeah. With the winter weather approaching, that presents some challenges, not only for you guys in the street, but also for the people who are unfortunately living rough.
Yeah, and I guess with the change in the season, like some of our donations will change with the seasonal requirements. I mean, you know, in the summertime, it's water, granola bars, and things like that. More so in the wintertime, it would be mitts and toques and warm clothing for the season.
It's good to hear that people are helping. It's good to hear that despite all of the challenges, there are people willing to put in the work. Lots of community organizations partnering with Bear Clan. We're going to learn about them at 8:38.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Hammer throw Olympic gold medalist and world champion Cameron Rogers knows a thing or two about struggling. Before her rise to fame, Rogers and her mother experienced homelessness and found a helping hand. And as CTV's Brianne Foley shows us, now they're giving back.
Welcome! Oh my gosh! Thank you guys so much. I love the sign that you made. Hey everyone.
Before the glory of gold, Cameron Rogers knew the struggles of homelessness and poverty.
It was right before I started high school, so I would have been 13. But that whole year we were, either like sleeping in our car, staying with friends' places. We even stayed at her work one night.
After a year of experiencing homelessness, Rogers and her mother moved into Dockside Village thanks to the More Than Just a Roof Foundation.
We got a call that we got in here. And I remember when we lived right in this unit here, and I remember when we came to look at it, and it was like amazing. We had this really cute 2-bedroom townhouse, and I'm like, wow, like this, it was game changing.
This is the place that we could start building our life back up.
More Than Just a Roof Foundation looks to give people like Sherry and Cameron a place to rebuild.
We're working to break those cycles of poverty and homelessness by providing real practical long-term solutions like food programming, education, mental and physical health support.
If it wasn't for Dockside, if it wasn't for MTR, I don't think I would be where I am.
Proving there is gold that can come from a helping hand and overcoming circumstance.
She is extremely hardworking, extremely resilient. Nothing stands in her way. And I think part of that probably came from our experience.
I think being able to then bring this and say, like, this is what all of that was for, this is what it earned, this is the everything that all of that support led to.
Brianne Foley, CTV News, Richmond.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Not a lot of gold heading our way today. It's going to be a pretty cloudy, overcast Tuesday ahead once that rain tapers off. 7 degrees with that northwesterly wind, very light at 8 clicks. The pressure is rising, humidity at 99%. Yes, as much as the rainfall will be in our rear view mirror, the sunshine won't be coming along behind it. Temperatures, though, are decent. Another above seasonal day by a small margin, but we'll take it. 7 degrees to kick us off in Morden and Winkler and Portage La Prairie. Much chillier to the southwest at 1 in Brandon, Dauphin at 2. Moving out of the way to northwestern Ontario, 6 degrees there in Kenora. Cooler as well in the northwest, still struggling to make it above freezing. Meanwhile, 9 degrees in Island Lake. Weather reporting stations once again offline there in Churchill and Gillam. My apologies. As you put the kids on the bus, best to have them prepared for that rainfall. It's likely to taper off in the morning, but you never know when, so it'll likely be still a bit soggy as they head out. 7 degrees as they get to Class 8 as they take take lunch as those clouds move in and our skies give up on the rainfall, if you will, once that low pressure system pushes off into northwestern Ontario. And on the way home, 9 degrees under those mostly cloudy skies. Winds will also be strong out of the northwest at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. They'll ease overnight as temperatures dip down to -2. Our skies will start to clear as well, setting the stage for a sunny day, one of the few we have the many days to come there. Into Thursday, we start to see that rainfall return. Environment and Climate Change Canada has about a 60% shot with a high of 5 degrees. And when trick-or-treaters head out the door, they could be bringing umbrellas with them. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. More Your Morning Winnipeg ahead.
We're about to make one of our viewers' morning a whole lot richer. For the past few weeks, we've been giving you the chance to enter to win a staggering $20,000. And now it's time to announce our lucky winner. Congratulations to Al Priadel. You are the winner of CTV Your Morning's $20,000 giveaway. Congratulations, Al Priadel. And thank you for tuning in and making CTV Your Morning a part of your daily routine. Have fun spending the $20,000. Halloween is almost here, and if you're creative and want to use makeup to create a cool look, makeup artist Kira Barrett has some advice to help you make it happen. Kira Barrett joins us now with our lovely model, Yana. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, makeup is an easy way to get that Halloween look. Why is it such a great tool to use?
It's really versatile, and you can use it for really anything. Like, if something's an eyeshadow, you don't have to use it as an eyeshadow.
Okay.
And it's very easy to get.
Because everybody can get makeup, right? It's kind of, everybody has a toolkit of their own. You could just find a creative way to use it. Now, blending is also really easy to do when you're trying to create that look, right?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you have like one brush, you can make the look.
Okay, so this morning we're creating a deer. Tell us what you need to do to get started to make that look happen.
Well, I'm starting with my gorgeous model who already has a bit of face makeup on.
Okay. So just a basic foundation is what we're talking about here? Okay.
Yeah, just some foundation. Maybe like she has some like cluster lashes on, but that's preference.
Okay, so for the deer look you want, how do you get started on that look?
So we'd start with just a brown, like a fluffy brush in any sort of dark brown.
Okay. So most women would have this kind of color in their toolkit, right?
And then turn that way for me. And then we're just gonna take the brown and just building it on top of the bones, on the cheekbones, temple, on the sides of the face.
And do you want a deep brown for this, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
For, like, it depends on their skin tone. So Yana has a more medium, warm skin tone.
Yeah.
So we're just using a darker version of her skin tone.
Okay.
And then if somebody's paler, then you just use a lighter brown.
Okay. And so you're building it on her cheekbones, as we could see here. Oh yeah, okay. And a nice big fluffy brush is a good way to use this too, because then you could get more done with more control, I take it.
Yeah, so I use the smaller brush to put it in its place, and then if needed, can use a even bigger brush and just blend it where I want it.
Okay. Looks good so far.
Turn that way.
So a little bit of depth in there, I could see that.
Turn this way.
And again, makeup is so easy to use. It's versatile. You can play with it. You could do different looks if you want as well. You don't need all, because you are a professional makeup artist. This is what you do. You do this for filmmaking as well. Tell us how you got involved with that side of the industry here in Manitoba.
So I've just always been interested in film.
Yeah.
And movies and stuff since I was a kid. And then I loved makeup as a teenager.
We have 1 minute left.
Naturally, I sort of went into that career and met some people that helped me find like my place in the industry.
Okay. What's interesting here is you're blending makeup with water so that it has more of a thickness to it, right? Okay. And so now you're doing spots just like that.
Little white spotted deer.
Okay. And again, this is a makeup brush most people have in their toolkit. You've been doing makeup since you were a little one, right? You did it. Tell some of the earliest memories of you, because you grew up in Fisher River, so
Fisher Branch.
Fisher Branch. And tell me a little bit about that experience growing up and how makeup has always been a part of your life.
Well, since I was a kid, I was a very, like, girl's girl. I love dressing up and pink and all this. And so I always had those little kits.
Look at that. We have a deer. Looks beautiful. And so you have a picture of you putting it on your aunt, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, well, we're almost out of time already. Well, we are actually out of time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you look good. Thank you.
As she's heading outside with that makeup, she needs an umbrella. It's been a soggy couple of days. We did get some rainfall totals from the last 24 hours or so from Environment and Climate Change Canada. Areas closest to the international border like Emerson and Gardenton, about 40 millimeters. We here in Winnipeg were between 23 and 28, depending on where you're at. Morden and Winkler at 23 and 21, quite a variation there. So that rainfall continues, as you can see. We're hoping it's going to be leveling off in the next hour or so. Currently, we're at 7 degrees. Northwesterly winds at 8 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity at 99%. As the morning continues, skies will dry out, leaving behind lots of clouds and some strong northwesterly winds. They'll be ramping up later on this morning at 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Temperatures throughout southern Manitoba will be, well, actually, let me revise that. For us here in Winnipeg and south central areas, will be around 9 degrees. Areas to the southwest, cooler, closer to 3 in the Westman area. To the north, overcast skies through the northeast and a chance of some rainfall as that system lifts to the northeast of us. To the northwest, more sunshine for you. Temperatures are decently warm at about 5 degrees. Overnight, skies clear out here in Winnipeg. Temperatures dip to -2. Those winds ease. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine on the way with a high of 8. But sadly, that rainfall likely to return on Thursday. Excuse me. Your Skywatch pick of the day, this one taken by Angie in Broken Head. Stunning shot of that rainbow. And if you have any weather pictures to share, email us to the address on your screen.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Canadian uranium producer Cameco and Brookfield Asset Management stand to benefit from an $80 billion deal between the U.S. government and Westinghouse to build nuclear reactors. Cameco is a major owner of Westinghouse, and this will strengthen its position as a key supplier as the North American nuclear industry powers back up. Amazon says it is cutting 14,000 jobs in a major restructuring of its corporate workforce. That number, though, could grow to 30,000. The company says it is further reducing bureaucracy and shifting resources to areas that best serve the customer. Amazon employs 1.55 million people around the globe, but again, that number may be shrinking as AI use grows. Ottawa is moving to ban non-compete agreements at federally regulated workplaces, including banks. The federal government says this will boost labor mobility and give workers the freedom to move to better-paying jobs or start their own businesses. Ontario banned most non-competes in 2021. The U.S. government tried to do the same in 2024, but a court ruled against it. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Here at Your Morning Winnipeg, we love Halloween, and that's why we're looking for a Halloween house to highlight during our October 31st show. If you think yours fits the bill, you could win a $500 gift card from St. Mary's Nursery and Garden Center and have the chance to show off your Halloween house live on Your Morning Winnipeg. To enter, head to our contest page at ctvwinnipeg.ca and fill out the form. While artificial intelligence is becoming more widely used, some companies are pushing back on the technology to try to win over customers. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis explains.
In the age of AI, some brands are standing out by rejecting it and making that their message. What it's all about. Erie's new ad campaign saying, "We commit to no AI-generated people or bodies," becoming the brand's most liked post of the year. Ari telling us, we knew it was time for us to take a clear stance that real life and real people will always be the foundation of our brand.
It's just a distinctive point of view, and that really draws people in, because more than anything, what most consumers really want is to feel connected and to see and listen to human stories that are reflective of their own life experiences.
Dove also getting on board, pledging they will never use AI to create or distort women's images. Even Heineken poking fun at controversial AI advertising from Friend.com, promoting AI connections over human ones with this ad: the best way to make a friend is over a beer. And while AI is becoming more prevalent, experts suggest consumers will always have a say.
Consumer behavior has a huge opportunity to impact how brands think about using AI, and also advertisers, because ultimately the point of advertising is to sell more stuff. And so if consumers speak by making it really clear that they might reject certain brands if they're using AI in a way that doesn't speak to them, then brands will listen to that. Money speaks.
This doesn't make me want to buy anything. We want to look at real people in magazines.
This summer, an ad from Guess featuring AI models sparked controversy for perpetuating unrealistic standards of beauty, but the agency who created the models defended the practice.
This is meant to just supplement and to add, a new avenue of marketing.
I think it's this sort of putting your foot in the water to see how much people will tolerate it until it's either rejected altogether or somewhere down the line acceptable. It's pretty compelling for companies to use this technology because it helps reduce the cost of making ads. But if the public isn't going to accept it, then making those creative assets aren't helpful at all.
Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Hope you didn't put that umbrella away just yet. We're still having a couple rain drops fall there in downtown Winnipeg. Should be tapering off soon. 7 degrees northwesterly winds. Pressure is rising, humidity at 99%. Yes, this very broad low pressure system that's been hovering over the southeast, still doing so this morning. It will be eventually pushing off into the northeast and leaving behind some cloudy skies. And that means that that system will be bringing some moisture to areas like Island Lake this afternoon, Gillam and Churchill. A little bit more sun expected, though, in Gillam and Island Lake to go with it, while Thompson staying dry but pretty cloudy with a high of 8 degrees. The northwest also staying dry, cloudy as well. Temperatures about seasonal to what's typical for this time of year. 6 degrees in the Paw, 4 in Flin Flon, 8 in Norway House. Southwestern Manitoba, a decent amount of sunshine on the way for you. Temperatures at 9 degrees in Brandon and Neepawa and Dauphin, a little bit cooler in Swan River. For us here in Winnipeg, we'll deal with this rain to begin the day, as you've already seen and experienced. It'll taper off later this morning. Cloudy skies, strong northwesterly winds. Temperatures there peaking at around 9 degrees. And then northwestern Ontario, you too could be getting the remnants of the system bringing rainfall to your skies. 8 in Kenora, Dryden, and Fort Frances. 7 in Red Lake. Overnight, our skies clear out. Our winds begin to ease. Temperatures dipping down to about -2 degrees, setting the stage for a lovely sunny day ahead on Wednesday. 8 degrees, and enjoy that sunshine because it will be in short supply for the rest of the week. A 60% chance of a rainfall on Thursday with a high of 5 degrees, and the trick-or-treating could be a bit soggy on Friday with a high of 5.
Crowded waiting rooms in Winnipeg's ERs are nothing new, but the Manitoba Nurses Union is calling a recent situation at Health Sciences Centre totally unacceptable. The Nurses Union says HSC's emergency department was running at a capacity of more than 200% for over a week. In a post on social media, President Darlene Jackson says at one point there were 120 patients waiting to be seen. Jackson says the overflow forced nurses to care for stroke patients in hallways while other patients waited hours for treatment. The situation became so dire, some adult patients were redirected to the children's ER. PC health critic Kathleen Cook says this is evidence the NDP's plan to fix the healthcare system isn't working.
The NDP talks about numbers of so-called net new hires, but when an organization like the Manitoba Nurses Union can't get the data on where those nurses are, whether they're full-time or part-time or casual, and how many nurses have retired without paying a $2,000 fee estimate, it really makes me wonder how credible are the NDP's claims.
In response, Premier Wam Kanu says his government is working every day to improve emergency services.
Well, we check the numbers each and every day, and what I'm giving you is up to the minute, and it's pretty consistent with what we've been seeing. But like I said, people on the front lines do great work. We're doing a lot on the safety side to support them. We've done a ton on the staffing side, so we're going to keep working on that.
The Premier says currently the median wait time is 2 hours. According to Winnipeg Regional Health Authority's website, as of 6:30 this morning, the wait time at HSC's adult ER was 7 hours. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Singapore today in the next leg of this Asia visit. The Prime Minister is making a pitch for Singapore to grow its investments in Canada in areas like AI, clean technology, and critical minerals. Prime Minister Carney was just in Malaysia for the ASEAN summit. Next, he will be in South Korea for the APEC forum. Prime Minister Carney has a meeting planned with Chinese President Xi Jinping while in South Korea. If you haven't started your Halloween candy shopping yet, you could be in for a bit of a fright. A new report suggests households are spending more on trick-or-treaters, but are getting less. CTV's Danton Unger breaks it all down for us.
Winnipegger Stacey Cardigan-Smith is gearing up for what she expects will be a busy Halloween night.
We're in a neighborhood now that really goes gung-ho for Halloween.
But she says stocking up on sweet treats has been more costly this year.
Between the increased cost and the increased need for candy, it's definitely been a lot more than previous years.
According to the Halloween treat cost report out of Dalhousie University, Canadian households are spending 10 to 20% more on Halloween candy. But here's the catch. You won't necessarily see the increase on the price tag. That's because the sweet treats inside the wrappers are shrinking.
Pieces are much smaller, which tends to push households to give more.
This thanks to the soaring cost of cocoa beans, which have more than quadrupled in the past 2 years due to drought and crop disease in West Africa, where 70% of the world's cocoa beans are produced.
We're seeing prices that are 5-6 times higher.
Constance Menzies, the owner of chocolatier Constance Pop, says the higher cost of cocoa beans means a higher cost for her customers.
I'm holding a nice a bag of Halloween chocolate, and normally this would cost for someone to purchase in our store, it would cost them $6 to buy a bag like this, but now it's $13.
And while some shoppers are planning to cut back this year,
they just won't get as much. That's all.
Cardigan-Smith says she believes the Halloween candy is worth every cent.
Seeing the joy on kids' faces, of course it's worth it.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Here's a look at what's happening now on Donald Street. It looks like things are moving well over here. We have no issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you do see any problems out there, though, please let us know. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.33. The provincial average is lower at $1.28. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.28. And the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.11. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For our question of the day, we wanted to know what's your favorite chocolate bar. Marlene's favorites are Aero and coconut bars. Olivia says Dairy Milk Pop Rocks chocolate. Craig's favorite is peanut butter cups. Another Your Morning viewers is Cuban lunch. Lauren says my favorite bar is Big Turk as long as it's fresh. Judy says her favorite chocolate bar is an O. Henry bar. Tanis enjoys a Cadbury fruit and nut chocolate bar. That's my favorite, Tanis. Rachel says my favorite chocolate bars are Aero, M&M, Tiny Bubbles. Thank you so much for all your responses. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live this morning with the Bear Clan Patrol. And now you're back inside. Tell us what's going on there.
Well, there's no bucket of candy, Kevin. They're talking about Halloween candy early on the show for our question of the day, and now that I've got such a sweet tooth. Switching gears now to the important things. You guys are doing such great things in our community, but it wouldn't be without partners. Tell us about a few of them that come to mind.
Sure, yeah. We're working right now with Loblaws, and they're working on getting us some of our water and granola supplies. They just donated 3 big coffee machines, which we donated over to the 190, the homeless shelter there, 190 Disraeli in Nindinaway Mac. Another partner that we're working with in the community is Nindinaway Mac. They house a lot of the unhoused relatives throughout the city. Another resource that we've been working with is Joe Fresh. They've got an initiative going on right now where they're helping out to supply some of the inner city youth with clothing. So we're having them as a partner, and having them participating in the work that we do is super important.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the youth, this is something that really fires you up. I can tell when you talk about it. Tell us about some of the work that's being done. Sure.
We're working with Children of the Earth every Wednesday as mentors, doing different things, beading, crafting, and I'm teaching some basic guitar stuff, just to get some music involved. And sometimes it's not even about what we're teaching. It's just about interacting with the kids, getting them heard, and being a positive influence and a role model to them.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to community needs, we clearly don't have enough time because there's just so much. When it comes to people helping, there are some ways that they can do that. Break it down for our...
Sure, yeah. We have a donation drop-off at 419 Graham, Wednesdays, 10 to 2. And coming up, I think, in the following months, it'll probably be a Friday, too, as well, that will be open there to receive donations. But right now, our donations that we're looking for is mostly toques, mitts, anything that's warm for the upcoming season.
Because practically, you guys are the boots on the ground. You guys are handing it to the folks who need it most. What can you say on their behalf?
I just like to say that we're going to try our best to be out there as much as we can and support with the resources that we have. I'd just like to give a big shout out to Bear Workwear. They've been a huge supplier of some of the workwear that we have for our volunteers as well. And I'd like to also give a shout out to our volunteers. They're the backbone of our organization, and without them, we couldn't do the work that we do.
Awesome. Well, I can say firsthand that it's a great team to work with all morning long. If you want to be part of that team, head to a link on our website for more details.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. The umbrella's out. You need it today.
You know what, Rochelle, though? Fingers crossed. It is a little bit sprinkly. That's a very official weather term, but we're starting to see this system move out. The last remnants being felt now, and then we hopefully will be able to put this away for at least a day. That's not bad. 7 degrees, overcast skies with a raindrop here or there. Northwesterly winds are light this hour, pressure rising, humidity at 99%. So once we get rid of the rain, we're still going to contend with a good amount of cloud coverage. Temperature is pretty uniform across the south at about 9 degrees, a few degrees above seasonal. 6 is what's typical for us here in Winnipeg. Meanwhile, for areas in the Red River Valley, we'll contend with some fairly strong northwesterly winds at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. That system, it pushes into the northeast, bringing rainfall to northwestern Ontario and to very northeasterly parts of our province like Churchill, Gillam, Churchill, Gillam, Island Lake, Thompson staying dry. So look for some raindrops here or there into your afternoon. Temperatures similar to what we're seeing here. And to the northwest, a chance for some sunshine for you. Temperatures at around the 6-7 degree mark, not terrible for this time of year. For us here in the south, we'll start to see those skies clear out nicely. Temperatures dipping below freezing, winds easing. And then tomorrow, tons of sunshine to enjoy, but it is short-lived. We have a 60% chance of rainfall in Winnipeg coming on Thursday. So again, keep this handy. You might need it. Okay, we're going to take a break here on Your Morning Winnipeg. I'm going to go inside and dry off, but stay with us. Lots more still to come.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
A new hope for Alzheimer's patients in Canada after Health Canada approved a new drug to slow the early stages of the disease. But as CTV's Heather Wright reports, for now at least, it comes with a hefty price tag.
Alzheimer's disease runs in John Dalrymple Fraser's family. Both parents and a number of cousins have had the disease, and so does he.
Thinking of my own family, I don't want to forget their names. I want to remember them. So getting diagnosed early gives me a chance.
He was diagnosed about 5 years ago and is part of an ongoing clinical study looking at the effectiveness of the drug lecanemab, which was just approved for use by Health Canada.
It is a historic day for Alzheimer's disease.
Lecanemab's approval marks the first time a drug that targets the root causes of the disease will be available in Canada. And while the drug will not cure Alzheimer's, doctors say it helps buy time by slowing cognitive decline and extending independence, and offers hope to families.
When independence becomes interrupted and patients require family members, people around them to start stepping in, that the impact of this disease really becomes felt on communities, on families, on the Canadian healthcare system.
Lecanemab is not without risk. It can have serious side effects, including swelling and bleeding of the brain and death. Only those in the early stages of the disease will qualify to receive the drug, and patients will be genetically screened, as side effects are more likely in people with certain genes. But doctors hope that having a treatment available will encourage more people to seek help earlier.
Will stimulate and encourage individuals to be aware of their memory and come forward if they notice problems.
Another major issue with this drug is cost. A Canadian price tag has not been set, but in the United States, it costs roughly $26,000 US. It's also not clear whether provincial health plans will cover it. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Professional Cree makeup artist Kira Barrett is sharing some industry tips on how to create that perfect look for Halloween. First, you created a deer with makeup, and now you're creating something a little different from a movie based in the 1930s about vampires. Tell us about this look.
So it's based on primarily Haley Steinfeld's character in Sinners.
Okay.
So it's based in the 1930s, and they're just vampires that, you know, do vampire things.
This is our lovely model Natalie here. This is a very easy look that anybody could do. First of all, just what you're wearing, Natalie, is for that era, right? Like the 1930s kind of look. What else did you do to create this look?
So we put on a lace front wig that was styled in a 1930s type style.
Oh, so that's a wig? I didn't even know. That is so good. Okay.
And then we have the contacts to sort of mimic the eye effects that they have in the movie.
Okay.
And then she has some fangs that she made herself.
That's incredible. Those are good. But you also created with makeup. What did you do exactly to her face to create this look?
So we started with just a 1930s period look. So like base foundation, some blush, maybe a bit of brow, and then a prominent sort of red-orange lip.
Okay.
And then we built on top of that the vampire like veining and discoloring of like a dead person. I'm not sure.
So how would you create that? Is that with a liner? Is that with an actual eyeshadow? How did you create these veiny lines?
So I have I have my professional kit, so I used an alcohol activated paints, but I've done veining before with just like eyeshadows.
Okay.
So
you need a thin brush, right? And then what else do you do? Do you have to follow a certain system when you're making these veins?
Yeah. So the face has a certain veining system. Like everybody's face has a certain veining system.
Okay.
And you have to look at the facial anatomy and how different veins will go.
So in this case, you even put some on her eyelids, right? Explain to me what you did here.
So I have really prominent veins in my eyelids.
Okay.
And I know like a few of my friends do as well. And I thought that would be like a fun touch to just add on top of everything.
So you created veins all over her face, but also down her neck. Describe to me, and her chest here too. Describe to me that part. And her arms, I see.
Yeah, just a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, no, all the veins, like, I mean, they run through the entire body.
Yeah.
So if she's dead, her skin would be more translucent and it would show the veins.
That's interesting. And this is actually kind of a bluish green color that you're using as well, right? So you just need to find an eyeshadow that'll work with that color.
Yeah, no, like I used a bluish green and then I used some like brownish purples.
Okay.
And like they work out really nice. They're pretty easy to find.
Okay, that's nice and easy. And then of course there's the blood, because you're a vampire. That's what you do. And so what did you create here? How did you do this look?
So I have mouth blood.
Okay, like real deal blood.
Yeah,
like
so
professional blood.
Yeah, so it's safe to put in the mouth, but there's also like options from like Spirit Halloween or something, like where it's just like the base standard blood, and you could just put it on the corner of the mouth, not getting it into the mouth, and then just letting it drip down, and then.
And you don't want to go nuts with the blood because you don't want to be gory. So this is just kind of a nice, subtle way of doing it. And then you also put some on her chest because it's dripping, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I like this look. This is easy. And how long did it take you to do this? This is like
an hour?
About an hour.
An hour or
This is a good party look that anybody can do. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. This is such a cool look. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's looking a little spooky out there on the live eye and a little bit wet too. It's been a rainy morning. It's looking to be tapering off now. 7 degrees, some lighter northwesterly winds, pressure's rising, humidity sits at 99%. So this very broad low pressure system has started to push off into the northeast there. It's starting to move to the northeast, excuse me, directionally challenged, which makes this job hard. So that means we'll be likely putting the umbrellas away for a day or so before we get some cloud coverage and a high of 9 degrees. 6 is what's seasonal for this time of year. We'll pair that with some very strong northwesterly winds at 20, gusting at times to 40 kilometers per hour. Overnight, skies clear out nicely. Temperatures dipping down to -2. Those winds taper a little bit as well. And then tomorrow, lots of sunshine to enjoy with a high of 8. However, overnight, temperatures dip to 2 degrees and we start to see the rain move in. And Thursday, we have a good chance of rainfall off and on throughout the day. 5 degrees there. And Friday, as we get ready for spooky season to come to a close, as the trick-or-treaters head out, could be pairing your costumes with an umbrella. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. More Your Morning Winnipeg still to come.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we send you on your way, we're going to have some fun video to show you going grocery shopping has never looked this good. Little Hannah can't do any of the shopping herself, so she wears it all in her hair. Her cute clips change with each trip, from an assortment of fruits to a variety of veggies to delicious pastries and desserts.
They're hanging on for dear life. There's not a lot of hair there. It's so cute, though.
It's cute. Well, some people in Belgium are having a very gourd time. This is in Casterlee, a small town with big pumpkins in Belgium. People there took part in an annual event, paddling their gourds around a pond. It's organized by a local kayaking club and pumpkin growers.
Imagine what you'd smell like after that. Wet pumpkin.
Yes.
Yum.
Well, do you want to do what the happiest animals in the world look like? We'll take a look at this. This is Koka. It's considered the happiest animal because it usually looks like it's smiling. Oh, look how sweet. It's all because of their natural facial structure and coloration. The small marsupials are primarily found in Western Australia.
Yeah, my natural features are not smiling. Let's just say.
Look at that little face. Perfect little cartoon character.
It looked like a teddy bear, kind of. Yeah, I want one as a pet, as Director Kim says.
But that does it for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.